Regularly scheduled programming will not be seen at this time so that we may bring you the Oklahoma-Nebraska football game.
College football today. Today's game features the Sooners of Oklahoma, the top running attack in the nation, against the powerful offense of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, led by the explosive Johnny Rodgers. College football today is brought to you by P.F. Goodrich, makers of Lifesaver, the American radio. By Colt 45 Malt Liquor, a completely unique experience. And by General Electric television products. At General Electric, we build every television as if we were going to use it ourselves. Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska is the home of college football's national champions from 1970 and 1971. Today, those Cornhuskers of Nebraska and the Sooners of Oklahoma battle for the championship of the Big Eight. And more than 76,000 fans will be here on this clear, crisp day. Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Fleming, along with Bud Wilkinson, Chris Schenkel, and all of us here at ABC Sports, welcoming you to Lincoln, Nebraska, and we hope that we can add to your enjoyment of this Thanksgiving Day. Yesterday, here at Memorial Stadium, there was a huge pep rally in honor of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who are closing out their regular season. And we thought it would be a perfect spot to do our pregame show on this stop here in Lincoln, Nebraska. So let's watch. Talk about serious football with all this emotion behind us, Bud Wilkinson. But I think we should talk about the significance of this game. No place in college football will you find a game for the last 2 years that had more significance than the Oklahoma-Nebraska game. A year ago today, it was the great game of the century.
Well, this year the teams aren't rated quite as highly, but they're still very much up there. Oklahoma rated number 4 going into the game, Nebraska number 5. Oklahoma upset by Colorado. In the opening game, the Cornhuskers were upset by UCLA and then tied by Iowa State on a very muddy, slippery field. But they're two of the great teams in the country, Bill, and this is for the Big Eight championship, and that means something here in the Midlands.
Okay, in tomorrow's game, there's added emotion because Bob Devaney is retiring as the head football coach of Nebraska. As you know, the winningest coach in college football will have his final game here in Lincoln tomorrow, and I think that's the reason we have such a tremendous amount of excitement here at the pep rally.
We also are going to have 3 of the leading candidates for the Heisman Trophy playing in the game. Johnny Rodgers of Nebraska, Rich Glover of Nebraska, and Greg Pruitt of Oklahoma. All great players.
Okay, we'll be back to talk about the Oklahoma offense here in this 1972 edition of the renewal of the rivalry between the Cornhuskers of Nebraska and the Sooners of Oklahoma.
We'd like you to come along with us to see the brightest, sharpest color picture General Electric has ever put into big screen television. With GE's unique 100% solid-state modular system that runs cooler for better performance, longer life, easier servicing. General Electric Color TV for 1973.
Introducing the superior-sized small motor home.
Funny, it doesn't look any wider.
But it is wider, 14 inches wider than a van. Taller, too, with a steel frame all around, even in the top.
That's good.
Inside, there's space for all the conveniences and comforts of a full-size motor home.
Funny, it still doesn't look any wider.
See for yourself at your Superior Motor Home dealer.
Superior is what it says it is. Superior.
But I think we ought to talk a little bit about the difference between these teams from a year ago and right now. Let's first of all talk about Oklahoma.
Well, Oklahoma last year was an awesome offensive football team, the best offensive team perhaps in the history of college football, but to be very honest, they were what I would call an ordinary defensive team. This year, they have become a totally balanced team. They've got a great offense, but a superior defense. They've given up only 4 touchdowns this year and are second in the country in scoring defense, and that's a remarkable improvement.
You know, in their backfield, they have 3 young men who have played together since freshmen. Wiley, Crosswhite, and Pruitt. They are now seniors. This will be the final game for them in the Big 8 Conference. And, of course, they are really something to watch. They have really brought glory to Oklahoma.
Well, they're great blockers for each other, Bill, and they're also great runners, and they operate out of that awesome wishbone attack. That's the first fake to the fullback, and here's the pitch to Greg Pruitt with Wiley leading into the outside. Pruitt cuts up in, and this is why he's a Heisman Trophy candidate.
And he almost waves bye-bye to the last defender. I think one of the things about Pruitt that makes him so devastatingly exciting is the fact that he carries the ball, but out there in such a dangerous way. Many have said it's just like carrying home a loaf of bread.
Well, this is another pitch, and I can guarantee you that Nebraska will do everything they can to keep the pitch from going out to Pruitt. They'd like to keep him inside where he does not have the room to use his speed and to maneuver downfield.
Joe Wiley is one of those long-legged runners that really can sprint when he gets that ball.
And you can see Pruitt's block for him there on the corner man. Wiley's got breakaway speed, as does have Pruitt, and this is why the Sooners are leading the nation in rushing offense. The fullback always fakes over the ball first in the wishbone, and Leon Crosswhite is a great ball carrier and a devastating blocker.
And an 18-year-old who has made the squad as a freshman is Joe Washington, and he has some of Pruitt's characteristics.
And if Pruitt's ankle does not hold up today, Washington will be a very capable replacement for him because he does have almost the same degree of skill.
Speaking of replacements, a fellow who had to be replaced from last year's team was All-American Jack Milton, the quarterback. Dave Robertson has done a super job of doing that. Dave, perhaps Bud is not the runner that Milton was, but I think he's a fine passer.
Well, Robertson has filled in very, very well. I think he's a very competent runner, but he's an excellent, excellent passer, and he's got 2 great receivers to throw to in Al Chandler and also in John Carroll. Pardon me. And this was the first pass here to Al Chandler, who is his tight end, 6'3", 222-pounder, who can really go get the ball.
And as Carroll catches the ball here, you can see that he had beautiful position and was hit perfectly with the ball. And the same thing happens with Chandler. And I think these ground-level shots really are something to watch. He unloaded this one.
Well, the wishbone has the defense drawn up very, very closely, and when Oklahoma does throw, usually they're trying to throw deep with their receivers behind them. As we mentioned a moment ago, Greg Pruitt did hurt his ankle last week against Kansas, and how fast he will be today, whether he'll be at full speed, is going to be a very important factor to the Sooners, and we'll know right after the kickoff about that.
You know what, that sign you just saw there a moment ago was that Glover says that Brahaney, who is the center of Oklahoma, is just another pretty face. So we've seen a lot of humor here in the pep rally at Nebraska. In just a moment, we'll be back to talk about the Nebraska team, the defending national champions, who will say goodbye to their coach, Bob Devaney, in that game tomorrow against their hated rivals from Norman.
How do you prove to the world you have a tough radial tire? If you're B.F. Goodrich, you take your passenger tire to tracks like Daytona, Sebring, Le Mans, up to 200 miles per hour, not a single tire failure. Only B.F. Goodrich dares do it. Lifesaver, the tough American radial. If you're B.F. Goodrich, you run on police cars in 33 states. Quick starts, fast stops, rough, tough driving, thousands and thousands of miles. Lifesaver, the tough American radial. And if you're B.F. Goodrich, racing and chasing shows you how to make the newest, toughest Lifesaver radial ever. With steel for extra strength, cushion for extra comfort. Lifesaver RS. The tough American radio. The only radio with cushioned steel belts. And only from B.F. Goodrich.
Run, Johnny, run. That can only mean one thing in the place of Lincoln, Nebraska. That's Johnny Rodgers, who's attending the pep rally here. I'll tell you this, this young man, who is, of course, one of the Heisman Trophy candidates this year, has brought an electrifying excitement to college football.
He's not the only boy I remember seeing, Bill, that's going to put 7 points on the board during the game that no one else would make. It's a little dimension that gives Nebraska what they need to have the balance that they have, and offensively, they've got the most remarkable balance of any team that I've known in a long time. They're averaging 232 yards a game passing, 235 yards a game rushing. That's just 3 yards difference. That's why their offense goes. And
one statistic about Johnny Rodgers that I think is just great is the fact that every 8.9 times that he touches the football, he scores a touchdown.
Well, he is incredible. He's remarkable, unbelievable. All of those things people have said about him. And I think that these pictures will give you some idea of why coaches, sports writers, and fans say that this boy is perhaps the most exciting player that has been in college football in a great many years. This was last year's Oklahoma-Nebraska game, and this punt return started Nebraska to victory.
This came with less than 4 minutes gone in that first quarter. It was 72 yards on the punt return, and it put Nebraska out in front by the score of 7-0. And you saw Joe Blaha wipe out Harrison there of Oklahoma with that great block. And that was the first blood in that game that turned out to be one of the most exciting games we've ever seen, 35-31 Nebraska.
And here he is again against Colorado, and look at these moves.
I still don't believe that one.
Now, what can you say? In addition to his punt returning, he lines up all over the backfield. He'll be a wide receiver. He'll be a wing back. He may even be the tailback. And from all of those positions, he breaks out into the various areas of the field to catch the ball. And by lining up so many places, it's almost impossible for the defense to put double coverage on him. And here he comes on the reverse play as a running back. And this is just straightaway speed when he sees that goal line.
Johnny Rodgers has scored 46 touchdowns, an all-time Nebraska record. 46 of them, and he hopes to make it more tomorrow.
They have a great sophomore quarterback also in David Hum. Hum is a left-hander who has a remarkable completion percentage. He's completing 55% of his passes. He has other great receivers in Ravel and List, in addition to Johnny Rodgers. And that, of course, is why the passing attack of the Huskers has been so very effective.
And, of course, you'll know that he was behind Jerry Tagge a year ago. He sat on the bench and watched that Oklahoma game, and he said to me earlier, I can't wait to get in against those Sooners.
Well, it gives the boy a lot of confidence to have the kind of protection he's receiving, and also to have 3 great receivers to throw to.
We talked about the fact that Jerry Tagge had to be replaced, but there was also a fellow on the field last year by the name of Jeff Guinea, who played a big role in the Nebraska victory.
Well, I think that if Nebraska is at all weaker than they were a year ago, it's because they don't have the back that can hit the consistent yardage. But Olds at fullback and Dixon at tailback are both remarkable players, and from their I formation, they have great power. This is the basis of their I formation attack. Olds leading, blocking one-on-one and breaking it open for Gary Dixon.
What a hole.
Well, there are lots of those with those big linemen blocking. Olds himself is a fine runner, 224 pounds with good speed. A fullback that has really speed enough to get outside. A remarkable thing.
You know, we've talked about offense here, but really the keynote between these two teams, and certainly Nebraska, is the defense of Nebraska, the black shirts, the ones who take so much pride. And, of course, that team is led by Rich Glover. But Oklahoma has a pretty good middle guard, too, in Lucius Selman, who is only a junior and who will be back next year.
But both of these men play their positions in the same way. They'll be crowding the center right up on his nose, and they'll try to defeat the center, and so far they've defeated every center they've played against. It requires the offense now to double-team them, and when they start double-teaming one man in the middle, there's a lot of openings for their teammates on defense to spill through and make the bad play.
So we'll be back in just a moment to talk about the keys to victory. But right now, let's just soak up a little bit of this pep rally here at Nebraska as they try to generate some heat to carry on those Huskers to victory against the Sooners of Oklahoma.
In the dull and commonplace occurrences of day-to-day living, one thing stands out as a completely unique experience: Colt 45 malt liquor.
How do you prove to the world you have a tough radial tire? If you're B.F. Goodrich, run on police cars in 33 states for thousands of punishing miles. Lifesaver, the tough American radial. And learn how to make the newest, toughest Lifesaver radial ever. Steel for strength, cushion for comfort. Lifesaver RS, the tough American radial. The only radial with cushioned steel. Only from B.F. Goodrich.
Excitement here in Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. Let's talk about the keys to victory, Bud.
Well, from the standpoint of Nebraska, it's very simple and very basic. Stop the Oklahoma running attack. If you're looking at it from the side of the Sooners, you've got to stop the Nebraska passing first. Above all, keep Johnny Rodgers from one of those breakaway touchdowns. And the Sooners, with their high-risk offense, cannot afford to have more than 2 turnovers if they expect to win.
Well, I suppose as a fitting climax to our pep rally show today, we should just simply turn around and ask these fans who's going to win. But I don't think there'd be much of a question in answering that. So we'll just say, suck it up a little bit. And this has been the College Football Today show coming to you from Memorial Stadium here in Lincoln. The pep rally, which originated yesterday to spur this team on to win over Oklahoma to try to make it number 4 in a row over the Sooners.
Oscar takes to the woods for a bit of inspiration tomorrow night on ABC.
College football. In today's game, the Sugar Bowl-bound Sooners of Oklahoma meet the Nebraska Cornhuskers in a showdown between 2 of the nation's top 5 teams. NCAA College Football, another ABC Sports exclusive, is brought to you by Texaco and the many thousands of retailers and distributors in all 50 states. Trust Texaco to have the right gasoline for you. By Chevrolet, who's building a better way to see the USA. By New York Life Insurance Company and your local New York Life agent. And by Miles Laboratories Incorporated, makers of Alka-Seltzer. For relief of headache and upset stomach, Alka-Seltzer. A year ago, it was billed as the game of the century. Today, this could be billed as the game of the decade between 4th-ranked Oklahoma and number 5th-ranked Nebraska, the defending champions of college football. And as you see, our record capacity crowd here in the plains of Nebraska. We're in Lincoln. The early morning fog has been replaced by a crystal clear sky. The temperature around 37 degrees as the Oklahoma Sooners in the white and red, coached by Chuck Fairbanks, begin to come out on the field. And there is plenty of red here today because that's the predominant color of both teams, and it's a great rivalry. We're going to see renewed once again this afternoon, a rivalry that was helped started by this man, Coach Bud Wilkinson. Bud?
ought to be a whale of a game, Chris. Oklahomans are concerned about Greg Pruitt, their great halfback, who sprained an ankle last week against the Kansas team. I talked to Dr. O'Donohue, the team physician of Oklahoma, before the game. He said the ankle has never had any swelling in it. He hopes and expects that Pruitt will be able to play, but how well it holds up will have a great deal to do with the Sooners' offensive performance. We do have a marvelous rankings of these two teams. Their statistics, and this is Pruitt here, as you can see, swinging out around, and a little bit of a limp there, but when the adrenaline gets to flowing, Chris, and the game is really on, I think that limp will go away. The statistics of these two teams are absolutely outstanding. We have a couple of cards here that I believe give you some idea. This is a team comparison, and you can see their rankings nationally, their record, the points scored, both prolific scoring teams and also points allowed. The comparison of the two teams nationally is just as interesting to me.
Of course, in this game, we have more All-Americans than you could have in any matchup of any college game. Because you have people like Glover, you have Tom Brahaney, the center of Oklahoma, Willie Harper of Nebraska, Johnny Rodgers, Greg Pruitt, and 3 Heisman Trophy candidates.
Yes, and Johnny Rodgers is really something. The University of Nebraska's coaching staff, particularly Bob Devaney, who incidentally is coaching his last game in the stadium today, has done a remarkable job of putting this boy where it's almost impossible to find him offensively. Johnny will line up all over the place. You like to double team him defensively, but he'll be at the flanker position, as you see. He'll move into a slot position. He may move in and become a wingback, and from that wingback position, he may break the huddle, and this time he'd be lined up at tailback, and then he'll go through those same formations to the opposite side. Here he is now at a wide flanker. So the defense can see him come out of the huddle, but it's almost impossible to play him 2-on-1 because he can line up all of those places, and then he'll also pick up and go in motion.
So remembers number 20 for Nebraska, Rodgers, number 30, Pruitt of Oklahoma. We have a lot to be thankful for, and we're very thankful that Bill Fleming is on our announcing staff here at ABC. He's down in the field in the sunshine where it's starting to warm as the action is about to get underway. Here are the stars of the game. Bill Fleming to introduce them.
Thank you very much, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the lineups for today's game. First of all, for the Sooners of Oklahoma. At left end from Sacramento, California, number 36, Pete Halfman. At left tackle from Poplar Bluff, Missouri, number 97, Derlin Moore. At middle guard from Eufaula, Oklahoma, number 98, Lucius Salmon. At right tackle from Oklahoma City, number 96, Ray Hamilton. At right end from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, number 31, Vic Kearney. At linebacker from Houston, Texas, number 44, David Smith. A linebacker from Spiro, Oklahoma, number 43, Rod Schote. Left cornerback from Watonga, Oklahoma, number 26, Larry Roach. Right cornerback from Houston, Texas, number 28, Kenneth Pope. Strong safety from Oklahoma, 19, Randy Hughes. And safety from Littleton, Colorado, number 16, Dan Ruster. And the head coach of the Sooners, Chuck Fairbanks. And now for the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. Split end from Sierra Madre, California, 84, Bob Ravel. And left tackle from East Orange, New Jersey, number 72, Darrell White. And left guard from Fremont, Nebraska, number 67, Dan Anderson. At center from Melrose Park, Illinois, number 54, Captain Doug Dumler. And right guard from Ord, Nebraska, number 62, Mike Barron. Right tackle from Toledo, Ohio, number 70, Marvin Crenshaw. Tight end from Bay City, Michigan, number 85, Jerry List. At quarterback from Las Vegas, Nevada, number 12, David Hum. The I-back from Oxnard, California, number 22, Gary Dixon. At wingback from Omaha, Nebraska, number 20, Johnny Rodgers. At fullback from Kansas City, Kansas, number 44, Bill Olds. The defensive captain at left tackle from Grand Forks, North Dakota, number 55, Bill Jensen. And ladies and gentlemen, making his final appearance in Memorial Stadium as the head coach of Nebraska, Bob Devaney. Thank you very much.
A standing ovation for Bob Devaney. Great coach, and there are his players, the defending national champions, who will meet their rivals in a few moments. Oklahoma. We'll be back.
Where do you find All-Pro quarterback Bart Starr?
Right here in the Yellow Pages under automobile dealers.
Bart, how do the Yellow Pages work for you?
Well, the Yellow Pages is a vital part of our total advertising program. In fact, we're so pleased with the results that we've increased the size of our ad in the Yellow Pages, and we've doubled our listings. We've doubled something else, too. That's our business.
Remember, 3 out of 4 prospects let their fingers do the walking. Advertise in the Yellow Pages.
Talk about unsettled stomachs. There are times.
Hey, you're going to talk, you're going to play.
when things get a little unsettled. So does my head, my stomach.
Read 'em and weep.
I can take losing. And I can't take the pastrami. Luckily, there's Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer starts to work as you drink it to settle your upset stomach. For your upset stomach and headache, take Alka-Seltzer.
My stomach feels much better.
Nebraska won the toss. They will receive. Moving from left to right, and on the near side, number 20, who averages 23 yards on kickoff returns, the sensational Johnny Rodgers. Also deep, number 24, Rich Baugh, as John Carroll, number 10. A split in for the Oklahoma offense will move to the ball, teed up on the 40-yard line. This is a Thanksgiving Day classic, and we hope it adds to your holiday cheer on this beautiful afternoon in Lincoln. Chilly, but perfect for NCAA college football. What a way to spend a Thanksgiving afternoon. John Carroll moves to the ball now. Let's see if he kicks away from Rodgers. A beautiful high kick. And Johnny has it, 5, 10, 15. Breaking through, but a beautiful, sure tackle on the part of Ron Waters of the Oklahoma Sooners, just across the 25, as Rodgers exceeds his average, bringing it back 28 yards. For Nebraska, up front, Bob Ravel, 84. The other end is Jerry List, number 85. White, along with Crenshaw, the tackles, Anderson and Barron, the guards, and a great center, Dumbler, while Hummers, the quarterback, 22 Dixon, 44 Olds, and 20 Rodgers. Ravel split to the far side of the field, 1st and 10 from, let's call it the 26. And Gary Dixon of Oxnard, California, number 22, a senior, carried on the first play.
Nebraska will be in multiple formations. They were in the I wing that time, which is their basic formation, along with the spread. But they will be in 6 or 8 different formations, moving Johnny Rodgers to different spots on the offensive team.
Bob Ravel, also a native of California, the far side. That's Rodgers in the slot at the top of your screen on a 2nd and 7 from the 29. Dixon again for more Nebraska yardage. Nebraska coming into the game ranked number 5, 8 victories, a loss and a tie. As Pete Halfman, number 36, made the tackle. And it's a first down for the Cornhuskers.
Oklahoma's defense is a 5-2 with Lucius Selman, number 98, as the nose guard. They've given up only 4 touchdowns in 9 games thus far.
And now only Olds is the setback behind the quarterback hum of Nebraska on a first down play. Rodgers on a reverse from a wingback position is caught at the line of scrimmage by Derlin Moore, number 97 and number 96. Another great defensive tackle for the Sooners, Raymond Hamilton.
Interesting defensive statistics for Oklahoma. Last year they were an average defensive team. This year they've become a great defensive team.
So let's call it 2nd down and 10. No score in the game. Opening minutes. Nebraska with the ball. Slot formation to the near side. In fact, the double wing formation. There's Olds, the fullback. And the Oklahoma defense has come through with another great play. In total defense, they're 8th in the country. In scoring 5th or rather, scoring defense, they are number 1. Make it 2.
2 behind Michigan that we'll see Saturday, Chris.
Okay. So with the ball now at the 33, a loss of 6, and it's 3rd down and 16. 5 defensive backs are in the Oklahoma defense, expecting a pass on 3rd and 16, and they're going to see it. The pass was short, just in front of Bob Ravel, number 84, and that is a kicking situation and just puts a spotlight on the Oklahoma defense, Bud.
And the defensive plan of Oklahoma is very apparent. They are going to be thinking pass all of the time and hoping that they'll be able to stop the Nebraska running attack. That their basic pattern is hopefully let's not let them complete any.
All right, Rich Sanger. Going back deep is Joe Washington. He is a freshman for the Oklahoma Sooners. He's back there in single safety. Here's the kick. Kicked away, and it's going to give Oklahoma great field position. Just inside their own 40.
So the Sooners have an opportunity now to try to move the ball following a 28-yard punt by the Cornhuskers.
Greg Pruitt, right halfback, number 30 for Oklahoma, a Heisman Trophy candidate, is a key factor in their attack. Let's take a look at him on this play and see how well his ankle allows him to move. Oklahoma, the leading exponents of the wishbone formation.
Dave Robertson is the quarterback. You see the wishbone with John Carroll, number 10, to split into the far side. Pruitt was involved on the fake after the handoff to Leon Crosswhite, the fullback. And the Sooners moved from their own 39 across the 40. Let's see where the referee, Vance Carlson, has spotted the ball. Let's call it the 43.
The key factor for Oklahoma is the yardage they make on first down, and we'll keep track of that for you. They need to be ahead of the defense on down and distance to have the wishbone function properly.
Carroll to the far side. 2nd down and 6 from the Oklahoma 43. No score. Well, there's one thing for sure. Greg Pruitt can leap. There's nothing wrong with his takeoff. Number 30, the native of Houston, there he is, was stopped by number 79, Rich Glover, and number 90, John Dutton of the great Nebraska defense at the 49, Bud.
The individual statistics of the Oklahoma backs are amazing. Wiley's averaging 5.5 yards a try. Crosswhite, the fullback, 4.8 a try. Greg Pruitt, 6.3 a try.
Oklahoma scored 7 touchdowns passing, 37 touchdowns rushing, with a 1st and 10 at the 49. Carroll to the far side. Crosswhite. It appears that Crosswhite has gotten into Nebraska territory across the midfield stripe, and he just made it to that point. Bringing up a 2nd down here in Lincoln is John Pitts, 56, one of the linebackers for Nebraska, made the stop. There you see the Nebraska defense on the left, and All-American Willie Harper's number 81 coming to the near side of the field. And Rich Glover is right on the ball, number 79. Tom Brahaney, number 54, at All-American center. Head-to-head, look how close they are. On a 2nd down and 8. Robertson. Albert Chandler, number 82, couldn't pull it in.
He had him open. He really did.
He sure did.
The Nebraska defense is based on the skill of Rich Glover playing over the center. Glover is so quick and fast and strong that he can defeat the center almost all of the time. And when they start double teaming him, then that means, of course, that someone else has an opportunity to come home free. Watch him as he lines up and crowds the center this time.
The officials moved the ball the length of a football to the midfield stripe. Now, that's an error. That little length of a football could be important. Okay. There's Glover. And Robertson back to pass. And it was batted down by number 90, John Dutton, 6'8", 248 pounds. So, Oklahoma now with a 4th down and 8. Nebraska's defense nationally, 1st in total defense, 3rd in scoring defense, and 8th in rushing defense. All right, Johnny Rodgers now goes deep along with Randy Borg, number 19. They await Joe Wiley's punt, number 22. 4th down and 8. Here's the punt. Into about a 7-mile-an-hour wind, Rodgers wisely looking into a bright sun, called for a fair catch at the 11. The punt went 39 yards. So Nebraska now, with 17 seniors playing their last regular season game, will snap it soon after this message.
Wat ik rook is taconis.
What do I smoke? Taconis.
Taconis is Hollands and full aroma.
Taconis is Dutch. A full, aromatic tobacco.
Taconis is mild.
Mild.
Dus rijk van smaak.
Rich.
En de aroma is heerlijk voor de omgeving.
The aroma, a pleasure to share.
Taconis.
Taconis.
Oh, en jullie dachten alleen dat wij tulpen konden maken, hè?
And you thought we Dutch made only tulips.
General George Custer.
General Joseph Johnston.
The blue.
The gray.
Yankee pot roast.
Southern fried chicken.
Moonlight in Vermont.
Stars fell on Alabama.
New York life insurance.
New York Life.
I was a New York life policy owner.
Really? I was a New York Life agent.
Live and learn.
Too bad about Little Bighorn.
You ain't just whistling Dixie.
That's all right.
Well, Bud, one of the many signs around Cornhusker Stadium, Memorial Stadium here, that, of course, referring to Alabama. team that's going to play Texas in the Cotton Bowl, while Nebraska plays Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl, and Oklahoma plays Penn State in the Sugar Bowl. Jeff Moran and Dan Kroger are in the backfield now. From the 11, Hum. Fine defensive play on Bob Ravel by number 28, Kenneth Pope of Galveston, Texas. So Bob Devaney, who has plenty of depth, has sophomore Jeff Moran, number 30, a native of South Dakota, number 46, junior Maury Dam Kroger in the backfield. Johnny Rodgers is there as we look at Dave Hum, a sophomore, 6'2", 186, with a 2nd and 10 from the 11. And another incompletion as Pope was covering Johnny Rodgers on the play. The Oklahoma defense congratulating their defensive back on 2 straight defensive plays.
These two teams are like fighters sparring with each other. They both have so many weapons. They're both so strong. They both have been in there when the pressure's on, just as it is this afternoon. And this game will get increasingly interesting.
Nebraska averaging 44.7 points a game. Now with a 3rd and 10 from their own 11. No score in this game. Fine call, Dan Kroger. And look at the pursuit of the Oklahoma defense led by Lucius Selman, number 98. Pope was up there again. Now you see Selman getting up.
I thought he really had the play open. It looked as though he had some field to move in, but as you pointed out, Chris, they truly have speed defensively as well as size.
It's unbelievable. Selman weighs 224 pounds, and on the last exchange of punts, Oklahoma gained 22 yards, and they held here on a 4th and 10 from the 11. Sanger from his own end zone to punt with a following wind. The kick is up. Joe Washington is back, but the ball is short. It may be recovered by Nebraska. Yes, it is. Kenneth Pope, who had those 2 fine defensive plays, fumbled the ball, and Moran of Nebraska recovered it at the Oklahoma 49.
Take a look at it again. Fair catch. He simply didn't move up quickly enough to get to it. And, of course, he didn't have any help back there with the Nebraska coverage. All of the red shirts on top of the ball.
Now from the Oklahoma 49, 1st down, no score in the game. Hum handing off to the deep back. Dixon, number 22. And the advance is inside the Oklahoma 45. Well, Nebraska has its first opportunity on a fumbled fair catch. They're in the red jerseys with the white helmets. The Oklahoma defense now forming. 4 men coming up on the line. Doug Dumler is the captain of Nebraska. He centers the ball. 2nd down and 4. Dan Kroger, number 46 carrying, and Rod Schote of Spiro, Oklahoma, a sophomore linebacker, made the tackle. Let's take another look at Schote.
Schote, 209 pounds, number 43. Reading, moving to the outside. He's going to be one of the great linebackers in Oklahoma history. This boy has really improved as the season's gone along. That's the speed and the strength that you're looking for.
Now the first string is in on 3rd down and 4 for Nebraska, a double-wing formation. David Hum. Jerry List, the tight end, number 85, holding it in. 1st down, Nebraska. David Smith on the tackle, number 44.
Punt, Oklahoma had really controlled them well, and they had the misfortune to drop the punt and lose the field position. They were almost ready to move in at least to field goal range themselves.
Fast moving first quarter, 9:19 to go. There's no score. 1st and 10 for Nebraska at the 29. Gary Dixon coming into this game. Dixon had scored 8 touchdowns for the Cornhuskers. Selman, number 98. On the tackle, joined by Pete Helfman, number 36.
And you'll notice that Nebraska rarely is in the same formation 2 plays in a row. They don't like to give the defense a chance to read the formation and get tendencies from it. In order to avoid that, they change the formation every down.
2nd down and 9 now for the Cornhuskers at the Oklahoma 28. No score if you just joined us. David Hum. What a hit by Pope. Johnny Rodgers is 0 for 2 on pass catching thus far in the game. Coming into this game, he had caught 8 touchdown passes. Hum has thrown 6 times, and he's completed 2.
Let's watch Rodgers again. When you're as exceptional as this boy, you pay a price. You know that you're going to get wrapped every opportunity, and he certainly did get a good shot that time from Pope.
Number 84, Bob Ravel, is split to the left. Johnny Rodgers, 20 to this side of the play. On a 3rd down and 9 from the 28. Hum. Down the middle. Dave Gaylor, number 28, hauled it in inside the 20 at the 17. First down. So the Cornhuskers, who recovered a muffed fair catch following a punt, have moved from the Oklahoma 49 to the Oklahoma 17, first down. Nebraska favored in the game. Gaylor. And Gaylor moves the ball to about the 14, a gain of 3 or 4.
Thus far, Oklahoma has not elected to put any big rush on Hum. They've tried to drop people back to cover. I would guess that they'll change that pattern and try to get to Hum as the game progresses.
7 minutes, 56 seconds remaining in the first quarter. There's no score. You just joined us. It's Nebraska in the red jerseys. The defending national champions going against Oklahoma in white. 2nd and 7 from the Oklahoma 14. Olds is the lone setback, blocking the end. The pass knocked away by Kenneth Pope, and I don't think I've seen a defensive halfback all year that has been involved in so many defensive plays early in the game. They're really peppering him.
I think that perhaps Nebraska thinks he's a little weak, but thus far he certainly has looked to be extremely effective.
That's right, because Hum has completed only 3 of 8 for 25 yards. Now with the ball at the 14, it's a 3rd down and 7 with 7:38 to go in the first quarter. Now we have Frosty Anderson, number 89, replacing Bob Ravel. He's to the near side of the field. Rodgers is opposite. There's the delay. Good call. Touchdown. Bill Olds. A lone setback. Scores.
Can't get any better execution than that. Oklahoma was expecting pass. They were ready to drop back in the secondary, which they did. The linemen were ready to rush. There's the rush of the linemen. See the other people simply wiped out because the pass receivers moved to the outside, and there were no defenders left as they were moving out to cover the potential receivers on the draw play.
Rich Sanger, near an NCAA record of points after touchdown in one season, has just been successful again with 7:32 remaining in the first quarter, a 49-yard drive in 9 plays. The score is 7-0.
Sharp steel versus the Goodyear Custom Power Cushion Poly Steel tire. To demonstrate the penetration resistance of steel cord belts under the tread. Watch. The polyester cord body soaks up shocks, and double steel cord belts resist penetration. Poly Steel, a 40,000-mile tire engineered for American cars. Only from Goodyear.
Quasar Color TV System, based on a big idea in color TV. The works-in-a-drawer TV for ease of service. We think it's a better way to build color TV because the modules can be plugged in and out right up front. Get ease of service plus the advances in our solid-state chassis design. Plus, one-button Instamatic tuning. And look at the color on this actual closed-circuit picture. By Motorola.
Opportunistic Nebraska, following a muff fair catch and a recovery, have moved from the Oklahoma 49 in 9 plays to get the first score of the game with 7 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Nebraska 7, Oklahoma nothing, as Joe Washington is deep, along with Joe Wiley, a fine punt returner for the Sooners. And kicking will be Rich Sanger, a native of Colorado, with the ball teed up in the 40 as the 7-mile-an-hour following wind on a bright, crystal clear day in Nebraska. It's a short kick. And it is bobbled. It appeared to be number 39, Glenn Garson, or Glenn Russell.
And you can feel the tension. Those hands get a little bit tensed up when you're trying so hard and you don't hold the ball.
Well, they did recover the fumble at approximately the 23-yard line. Nebraska is in the lead, 7-0. Oklahoma has this opportunity now to try to do something with the ball. They did move it fairly well, the only other series they had it. There's the Nebraska defense on the fullback, Leon Crosswhite, a senior from Hennessy, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's first possession on first down, they made 4 yards, and that kept them ahead down and distance-wise. The next 2 first downs, they've made nothing on first down, and that really relaxes the defense against the wishbone.
Don't forget on the double header here on ABC tonight at 9 Eastern Time, it'll be Texas, the Longhorns, and Texas A&M right here on ABC. Second down and 9 at the 24. Nebraska leading 7-0. Oklahoma with the ball. Here's Robertson to John Carroll. First down, Oklahoma at the 42.
The defensive plan of Nebraska is to have Uralian, number 15, man for man on Carroll, and use the other 10 men to try to stop the Sooners' running attack. Let's take a look at it. Here's the one-on-one coverage, and when you run the stop pattern, it's very hard for the defender to get back up in time to make the play.
Coming into this game, Robertson had only thrown 78 times, completing 39. As we indicated, they've made 7 touchdowns by way of the pass. Here's a 1st and 10 at the 42. Nebraska leading 7-0 with 6:30 to go. First quarter. Leon Crosswhite across the 45. Jim Branch, number 51 of Chicago, Illinois, making the tackle for the Nebraska defense, which includes Manstedt, Jansen, Glover, Pitts, Dutton, Harper, along with Blahak, Mason, Borg, and Zarelian.
And Oklahoma hopes to work on the 2 tackles, Jansen and Dutton, getting them conscious of the fullback inside so that they can use the option pitch and turn the corner.
The Texas-born wishbone used by Oklahoma. 2nd and 6. John Carroll, first down at the 37 of Nebraska. Zarelian on the tackle, and Bud, a weapon that they haven't used as often as most fine college teams, is working for them.
Robertson is a very fine passer, and when you get this one-on-one coverage, as you can see, Uralian did a very good job of staying in position, but without anybody to come across in front. This is Rich Glover, who they're very, very concerned about, and you can see the double-team block here. The guard, Jones, coming across, and Braheny and Jones being sure he does not get to the passer.
Back live, the ball is on the ground with Leon Crosswhite moving it there, and it's Jim Branch again tackling for the Nebraska defense. There's 17, Leon Crosswhite, an honor student, 6'1", 213 pounds. Coming into this game, it scored 3 touchdowns at a nearly 5-yard average. Robertson now has thrown 4 times, completing 2, both completions to number 10, John Carroll. Now from the 34, it's a 2nd down and 7, the deepest penetration of Oklahoma. And Nebraska recovers a Crosswhite fumble. The 2nd break for the Cornhuskers. Joe Blahak, number 27, from Columbus, Nebraska. Fine defensive player, comes up with a ball, and the Sooners are having their share of tough luck.
If you have to fumble it, Chris, that's a much better part of the field.
Yes.
Where the punt occurred.
That's right, the punt was fumbled on the Oklahoma 49. This is at the Nebraska 19. Bob Ravel is in at split end. He's off to the near side of the field. Maury Damkroger, number 46, a 215-pounder, carrying on the play from the 19. Nebraska in the lead by a score of 7-0 with 4 minutes and 39 seconds left in the first quarter. As we look at Coach Bob Devaney, what a record he has had, or rather Chuck Fairbanks. Fairbanks, who is going for his 50th win at Oklahoma.
Those little hand signals setting up the defense.
Johnny Rodgers getting a little double coverage out on the far side of the field here at Memorial Stadium. We had included Selman, Lucius Selman, and Kenny Pope, number 28. And there's a loss on the play. Back to the 18, so it'll be a 3rd down and 11.
Let's watch number 96, Ray Hamilton, the Sooners' right tackle. 6'1", 240-pound senior, reading the play, shaking off the block of White, and getting to Rodgers as he tried to turn the corner.
3rd down and 11. Johnny Rodgers. And it's very close to that forward stake. Rod Schote, number 43, and Dan Ruster, number 16, in on the play as the referee, Vance Carlson, looks to the far side, indicating that they need that much for a first down, but it brings up a fourth down deep in their own territory at approximately the 28. There's the yardage necessary, and it's going to be a Nebraska punt. Rich Sanger will do the kicking. We have Joe Washington deep, number 24. Here's the kick. It's going to be hard to handle. And wisely, Washington backs off. Because look at the number of red Cornhusker jerseys there, including Mike Barron. A 45-yard punt with Nebraska in the lead. 2:58 to go, first quarter, 7-0. Record press coverage here at Memorial Stadium before over 76,000 fans. You can see it's a beautiful day, and on the artificial turf, Nebraska's in the lead, 7-0 with 2:58 to go in the first quarter. And now Coach Chuck Fairbanks of Oklahoma puts into the lineup freshman Joe Washington, number 24, in place of Joe Wiley. Crosswhite, 17, is the fullback, and Greg Pruitt, who scored 14 touchdowns for the Sooners coming into this game, number 30, is in. And he hasn't seen much action, so we'll keep checking on him now. And where's number 30 on the white jersey? From the 26, it's Washington that carried the ball.
I think that Pruitt's running all right. Oklahoma's plan going into the game was to try to make some yardage inside to control the two defensive tackles in Nebraska who have great lateral pursuit, Jansen and Dutton. If they can get them concerned about their inside, then they can get the count that they want on the outside to run their option play where they will read and fake the quarterback keeping or pitching against the corner man.
Carroll to the near side, 2nd down and 7 from their own 29, Oklahoma with the ball. It was thrown high. John Carroll, the intended receiver, as you saw, 2 Nebraska men in red, moving back to cover, Dave Mason, 25, and Zarelian. There is Coach Bob Devaney seeking his 101st victory and his last game as coach of a regular season game. As he announced his retirement last January, he'll become athletic director following a bowl game against Notre Dame.
And that last play will give you an idea of how rapidly Nebraska adjusts. They had been going man for man, Zarelian against Carroll, but they gave it double coverage on 2nd down and long yardage.
Now the wishbone changes. We have a flanker and split end on 3rd and 7. Again, too high. Intended for Greg Pruitt, who comes limping back toward the huddle, but now to the near sideline because it's a 4th down and 7. There you saw Pruitt. Now here's his Nebraska counterpart. Sensational Johnny Rodgers, number 20, with 17 touchdowns, 2 on punt returns, 8 on passes, and 7 on rushing.
Watching Pruitt on that last play, I do think the ankle's beginning to bother him some, and I question very much if he will be the same factor in this game that he has been other games in his career.
All right, Joe Wiley of Oklahoma will punt on 4th down and 7. Nebraska leading 7-0 with 2:14 to go, first quarter. The kick is sailing, spiraling in this crisp, clear air. Johnny Rodgers looks at it, and it's a fine weapon. The punt.
From a coaching standpoint, Chris, Rodgers is back there. You want to see that ball kicked out of bounds.
And it went 51 yards. And Nebraska now will try to move it from its own 19.5, 1st and 10. If you just joined us, Nebraska scored at 7:32 of the first quarter as they recovered a fumbled punt at the Oklahoma 49, and in 9 plays, the fullback Bill Olds went over. Here's that same team that has 8 victories, a surprising loss, and a tie. This game today is for the championship of the Big Eight. Ooh, a dangerous pass, just floated there by sophomore quarterback Dave Humm.
Oklahoma had red screen and played it extremely well. I really thought that he'd throw the ball out of bounds. I don't think that he wanted to hang it out there.
All right, 2nd down and 10 from about the 19.5. Bob Revell, 84 to the left. The tight end is Jerry List to the near side of the field with Rodgers in the far side slot. Outside, Darrell White, the tackle. And the Oklahoma defense moves in on Gary Dixon, number 22.
I don't think we've seen two defensive teams of this caliber. Let's watch Lucius Selman, the nose guard for the University of Oklahoma in defense. Number 98, he's taking on Dumler here, slipping right past Dumler and doing Rick Glover's thing by being in the backfield to make the tackle.
3rd down and 10 is Gaylor. Number 28 is in the backfield. Here's Humm. And it's going to be a punting situation as Selman comes in fast. Number 98. There you see him down on the knee, and on the far side, number 44, David Smith.
Many people feel that Selman is just as effective as Glover of Nebraska playing the position of middle guard, and watching him here, you've got to agree that this man is a fine football player. 224 pounds, and Chuck Fairbanks feels that he's the strongest lineman that he's coached.
This is the Sanger punt, high in the air. Joe Washington calling for a fair catch, and for a change, the Sooners hang on to the ball. A 25-yard punt. Everybody remembers the Oklahoma-Nebraska game from last year. The game not only produced the #1 football team for the '71 season, but also was the #1 regular season television attraction in the history of college football. It was ABC's pleasure to televise that historic game into 21.6 million homes. And to the millions of homes tuned in today, a happy Thanksgiving. As Oklahoma now from their own 45. And Greg Pruitt showed a little bit of his inherent speed as he tried to come outside. Pruitt, number 30, was stopped by Willie Harper, 81, and Randy Borg, number 19. Let's call it a gain of 2 yards to the 47 here at Memorial Stadium.
This is Glover, the All-American nose guard for the University of Nebraska, and you can see the Oklahoma plan. Let's wipe him out, and if it takes 2 or 3 to do it, well, we'll use 2 or 3.
2nd down and 8 now for the Sooners. The score, Nebraska 7, Oklahoma nothing. 42 seconds, first quarter. And Joe Washington from Port Arthur, Texas, carried on the play. Across midfield, John Dutton on the tackle along with Willie Harper, 81, and Rich Glover.
That's Glover again, replay. This is a little counter fake. You can see him reading, coming back and defeating Brahaney to make the tackle.
Grant Burgett is in the lineup now, replacing Pruitt. He wears number 25 on his jersey. As we saw Chandler, 82, and now 15, Dave Robertson, as Carroll splits to the near side on 3rd down and 5. Crosswhite. First down for Oklahoma at the 39 of Nebraska.
And exceptional faking that time by Robertson. After handling the ball to Crosswhite, the first man, he carried out the fakes remarkably well.
Crosswhite, Leon Crosswhite limping now. The big 213-pound fullback at a time has been called. But as we look at the clock, it's not time. Time has run out here in the first quarter. And the Nebraska Cornhuskers, favored in this game on their home field, are in a 7-0 lead after they went 49 yards in 9 plays to score. Be back with the second quarter in a minute.
New York Life helps answer the question.
Richard Backus, 26, wife, pension plan, $37,600. Adam Kurt, 41, wife, 2 children, mortgage, $115,000. Peter Hawk, age 32.
These people all asked a New York Life agent how much life insurance is enough. Based on the agent's thorough analysis of their specific needs, this computer gives a complete, accurate answer. How much life insurance is enough for you? Ask your New York Life agent.
Why are these cars smiling? Because they're Vegas. And Vegas are very happy cars. They enjoy their work. They enjoy being driven. That's one thing that sets Vega apart from the average little car. Vega for 1973. More smiles per gallon than the average little car, for about the same kind of money as an average little car. Just because it's better doesn't mean it's more.
Well, it kept a lot of sign painters busy in coming up with all these signs here that are just among the 76,000s. Crosswhite 17 is up as in his feet. But Chuck Fairbanks has 24 Washington, Klein Russell 39, and Burgett 25 in the backfield on a 1st and 10 from their own 39. Burgett carrying on the play. This is the first play of the second quarter, so now the Sooners are moving in a different direction.
Let's take a look at Glover again. Brahaney fires out at him. Number 72, Jones, comes across and finishes up on the double team. Oklahoma beginning to hurt a little bit at fullback. Crosswhite out. The backup, Welch, did not make the trip. He's had a shoulder separation, and so they're down to their 3rd fullback.
But John Carroll has been a great pass catcher. He is out of bounds at about the 26, and that should, but let's see if he's hurt. John Carroll is hurt on the near sideline. Crosswhite comes back into the Oklahoma lineup. There is John Carroll.
And number 11 going in for Carroll is Tinker Owens, freshman Steve Owens' young brother.
And it appears as they work on the right knee that that's where it's smarting. John Carroll, a native of Norman, Oklahoma, replaced by Tinker Owen, number 11, who comes to the near side of the field. It's a 1st down play. And Crosswhite has the Nebraska defense keyed on him, and look at that. John Dutton and Bill Jansen. You talk about a couple of defensive tackles. And Jim Branch, the linebacker, fills when necessary.
Statistics, Oklahoma leading slightly. The statistic that doesn't show are 2 fumbles by Oklahoma recovered by Nebraska, which are the key plays thus far.
And, of course, players hurt is a stat that doesn't show. On a 2nd and 11 from the 25. Here's Robertson. Drilling one. And look how 3 Nebraska defenders came back to cover, including Blahak. Jim Branch, 51, Blahak, 27.
And Oklahoma, of course, will hope to pass on the early downs when the down and distance is favoring the offensive team rather than being forced to throw on long yardage situations.
13 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the first half. At halftime, both bands and Coach's Corner today. And our guest coach is Colorado's Eddie Crowder, the Okie from Muskogee, not Merle Haggard. Okay, to the left, Tinker Owens on a 3rd down and 11 from the 25. The shot to Tinker. Oh, couldn't get to it. 4th down and 11. Zaven Zarelian, number 15, covering on the play. And here again is Coach Bob Devaney, a graduate of Alma in 39, his 16th season as a head coach and his final regular season game.
That was just 1 step from Oklahoma 1st down. Owens had beaten Zarelian. Robertson overthrew him 1 yard.
Rick Fulcher has kicked 7 of 10 field goals this year, and Robertson will hold. It'll be a 41-yard attempt. It's up. It's no good. A 41-yard try for 3 points, and the ball comes out to the 20 with 13 minutes, 36 seconds to go. Nebraska in the lead, 7-0.
Automobile shock absorbers are nothing new. For over 50 years, they've been used to absorb road bumps. Well, General Motors took this principle and turned it around to help absorb front-end bumps. That's the secret behind the new General Motors bumper, which is on many new GM cars. An energy-absorbing device or shock absorber that gives on minor impact like this. This new bumper system is designed to work in extreme heat, in conditions of cold, and when it's caked with mud. You can still jack it up. This new GM bumper wasn't the easiest solution to better bumpers, but we feel it's one of the best. A good-looking bumper that can take it.
Nebraska leading 7-0. They'll snap the ball from their own 20 following a missed 41-yard field goal. John Carroll, the offensive end for Oklahoma, re-injured his right knee, but the trainer feels he'll be back in the lineup next time Oklahoma gets the ball. Nebraska has it at the 20. We're in the second quarter, 13:36 to go. Hum. It was intended for Johnny Rodgers, who was hit hard and is down. Larry Roach timed the hit defensively perfect.
The balance of this Nebraska team passing and running is amazing. In the first quarter, you probably noticed Nebraska made 30 yards rushing, 35 yards passing. Let's watch Rodgers here getting hit. He was stretched out. The blow came underneath him, and he let on his head and on his shoulders.
Shows you that there is room in football for little men. Rodgers little, and the man that hit him little, comparatively speaking, 5'11", 178, Larry Roach.
Let's take a look at this play one more time. You can see Rodgers looking back for the ball as he comes across the field here. He's reaching high in the air for it, and he's got no way of avoiding the blow at all as he goes up high here, and he caught it right below the ribs with the shoulder.
I'm not sure he'll enjoy turkey later. It was hit right in that bread basket.
Great athlete, though, and unless the...
So Rodgers will be replaced by Glenn Garson, number 39.
Let's watch it again. You can see the shoulder come in here just as he's stretched right now. Full head of steam. Rodgers moving on a collision course, and that was just head on, but he's walking off the field now, and I'm sure that he will be back.
Johnny Rodgers, who's recovered from many things, goes to the far sideline on his own steam. Garson, number 39 from Fullerton, California, junior, a 6-footer, 184, is in the lineup. So it's going to be a second down and 10. The delay to Maury Damkroger, the reserve fullback, number 46, and Selman was there again.
Getting back, excuse me, Chris, to that balance factor of this Nebraska offensive team. Going into this game, they had averaged 232 yards a game passing and 235 yards a game rushing. So they have perfect balance between their running attack and their passing attack.
All right, Jeff Moran is in, number 30. Third down and 8. Pass blocking is just tremendous for David Hum. Garson was the intended receiver, that junior replacement for Johnny Rodgers, and it brings up a 4th down and 8 for the Cornhuskers, who have that 7-0 lead with 12:59 remaining in the first half of play.
That Oklahoma defense, except for the one drive, has really been dominant.
Oklahoma with one loss, and that was to Eddie Crowder's Colorado Buffaloes, and Eddie will be on at halftime, coach's corner. Here's the punt by Sanger. Washington looking at it. Has the handle at the 25, now moves up to the 30, looking for help. Well, the kick blocking wasn't too effective on that because Joe had some movement as Damkroger brings him down following a 51-yard punt. So the Sooners, looking for their first score, get the ball at the 32.
Washington did a good job of making that catch, though. It was a bouncing ball, and he had not gone for it. It could have rolled another 20 yards.
Will return as Nebraska leads 7-0.
You paid too much for car insurance. Your independent insurance agent thinks so, and the fine companies he represents think so. You see, you set the rates every time you edge past the speed limit or try and beat a light. People make insurance rates by the way they drive. What your independent agent can do is get you the best insurance protection at the best rates. He gives you a choice of leading companies like these. See a pro where you find this symbol.
Who's got 'em smiling big? Who do they really dig? Ooh.
Big M.
Miller Malt.
Big M.
Miller Malt.
Big M.
Miller malt liquor. When Miller brews a malt.
Miller brews it big.
It's a clear day, as you can see, looking out on the far horizon. Some of the buildings here at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln, and over 76,000 watching as 12:45 remains in the first half. For Oklahoma, 1st and 10 from the 32. They trail 7-0. And Rich Glover was in on Crosswhite, number 17. And in this series, John Carroll, their fine split end, is not in the lineup. His replacement is freshman Tinker Owens, number 11. Ball has been spotted at the 34, gain of 2, 2nd down and 8. Oklahoma now has 2 freshmen in the starting lineup. 24, Washington. 82 is Al Chandler, a senior from Oklahoma City. First-year man Washington, number 24 from Port Arthur, carrying on the play. 56, Johnny Pitts, helping to tackle. And let's see where the referee, Vance Carlton, has spotted the ball. Spotted it at the 37, so it'll be a 3rd down and 5. 7-0 the score.
Oklahoma continuing to have trouble on 1st down. Maximum they've made is 5 yards. The rest of the time it's been 3 or less.
Tinker Owen at 155 pounds to the left. Here comes a pass intended for him, but it was knocked down by John Dutton. That's the 2nd time he has knocked down a forward pass. 6 feet 7, 248 pounds. John Dutton.
He also beat Foster's block that time.
So it's a 4th down and 5, another punting situation.
And Mr. Rodgers is back in the game to receive the ball.
And he wears number 20 on the red jersey. Number 19, Randy Borg, goes deep with him, but now steps ahead of him as Joe Wiley will punt with Brahaney centering the ball. Here's the kick. And Borg calls for a fair catch at the 36 of Nebraska. And Rodgers stays on the field, so apparently he's going to stay in that powerful Nebraska offensive unit. So Nebraska now will try to move following a 26-yard punt as they lead 7-0 with 11:30 remaining. First half. To the far side, Bob Ravel. The flanker just out beyond his tackle. Marvin Crenshaw is Rodgers. Gary Dixon loses the ball. Oklahoma has it. We see no signals, no whistles. And number 31 of Oklahoma, Vic Kearney.
Well, the ball hit the ground, so he cannot advance it as you can in professional football, but it was ruled a fumble. Oklahoma has recovered the Nebraska fumble, and it's the Sooners' ball.
But Kearney did the right thing until you never really know officially. Just run with the darn thing.
Absolutely. They can always bring it back, and if you should have run it and don't, that's a horrible error.
All right. That fumble caused, like most of them are, by hard hitting up front. Just tremendous. I'm sure you saw it on your screen and almost felt it. So now Oklahoma from about the 41 with a 1st and 10 in Nebraska territory. Robertson. Tinker Owens is out there. Oh, too long. Tinker Owens had beaten Zaralian. So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 here at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. With 11:13 to go, first half, it is 7-0. Turnovers, 1 Nebraska and 2 for Oklahoma. All 3 fumble recoveries. 2nd and 10 from the Nebraska 41. Bama ran to Texas. Nebraska gets something. Joe Washington. John Dutton. That's that big boy. Moving laterally to show you what speed these huge linemen have, joined by Jim Branch, number 51, and Randy Borg, number 19.
That's not a regular wishbone play, Chris. That was just a straight-up power sweep. And very effective.
And a 6-yard gain by the freshman Joe Washington as we have a 3rd down and 4 at the 35 of Nebraska. Nebraska scored following a recovery of a fumble, going 49 yards in 9 plays. 3rd down and 4. Crosswhite. There you see 90 again. And let's see if we see 79, somewhere in there.
I would guess that they're going to go for this one. They're just a little bit out of their field goal range. They've got 4th down and about 2. This is a team that has tremendous confidence in their running attack, in fact, in their entire offense.
Of course, Oklahoma fans outnumbered here in Memorial Stadium, the home field of Nebraska. But the ones that are here, just like the Cornhuskers, are wearing red and cheering. They go for it. 4th down and 2 from the wishbone. Ball is just across the 35. Robertson. Oh! Joe Blahak comes up with the 3rd Oklahoma error.
Great field position, and they had the right call, but he simply didn't execute it. Don't know whether his hand was hit as he tried to pitch it or whether he just let the ball slip away from him.
I didn't see anybody there to pitch it to, Bud.
Neither did I, and I think that was the fact that someone went the wrong way.
Right. Sophomore Dave Hum now from right near his 35. Hides the ball beautifully. It's knocked down. Looked like number 96, Raymond Hamilton, a senior, called Sugar Bear by his teammates. More important, he's on the dean's list in Norman.
For excellence, not for bad conduct.
From the 35 now, there you get a look at John Carroll, the injured Oklahoma split end, and doesn't appear he's going to be showing up for a while. Smooth run by Jeff Moran. He loses the ball. Waiting for the official ruling. The Oklahoma player says we have it. Randy Hughes was on top of it, but apparently the play was blown dead prior to the miscue. So now, with the ball at the 39.
Let's take another look at number 43 for Oklahoma, their great linebacker, Rod Schote. He's driven back here by Anderson, but he recovers, fights through, and the ball popped loose, and that's one of those very questionable things. I don't know whether he was down before that ball popped loose or whether he wasn't. It was certainly marginal.
Number 39, 3rd down and 6. Johnny Rodgers. I don't think the midsection shot hurt Johnny Rodgers at all, but a lot of credit, Bud, should go to the quarterback, David Hum, for laying that ball in there so quickly.
He started down the line as though he were going to run an option play, just raised up and hit him in the seam. Hum, being left-handed, could be moving to the bottom of the screen and make that play.
Rusty Anderson to the far side. From the 41. And Oklahoma intercepts the pass. Dan Ruster, number 16, a pass intended for Johnny Rodgers. He pulls it right out of the air. So, Hum is intercepted by Ruster here at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln.
There it is again. He moved in on Rodgers as the ball was in the air and simply took the ball away from him. Two great defensive teams, and thus far a classic defensive struggle.
Oklahoma's lost 3 of 4 fumbles. Nebraska's lost 1 of 2. And Nebraska's been intercepted once. Oh, boy. From the 16 now, Oklahoma, 1st and 10. Dave Robertson has Tinker Owens to the far side. And Crosswhite carries. And the Nebraska defense with John Dutton, 90, and 79, Rich Glover, there to stop the fullback. Gets to the 17-yard line, so it'll be 2nd down and 9. Nebraska leading 7-0 with 8 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the first half. Nebraska's scoring drive at 7:32 of the first quarter, 49 yards, 9 plays as they recovered a muffed fair catch. Joe Washington carrying on the play, and as you see, he moved from the 17 just across the 20. Monty Johnson, number 37, Bloomington, Minnesota, a senior, made the tackle. So with the ball at the 21, it's a 3rd down and 5 for the Sooners. There you see Dave Robertson, the senior. Al Chandler, 1st down, Oklahoma. Chandler, who had caught 9 passes this year with a 22-yard average and 2 touchdowns. Gets his first of the day as Joe Blahak was covering him on the play.
And number 81, Willie Harper, Nebraska's All-American defensive right end, was really criticizing himself for not being in there to force the play.
Robertson now has thrown 12 times, completing 4 for 62 yards. 7-0, Nebraska leading. 7:22 to go, first half. Tinker Owens to the near side, first down. And Grant Burgett of Stroud, Oklahoma, sophomore, carried. Harper was over there, along with 51 Branch.
And Nebraska continues to do a remarkable job against the Sooners on first down. The Sooners have now had 11 first down opportunities. They made 5 yards once, 3 yards 3 times, and the rest of the time it's been 1 or nothing.
About a 10-mile-an-hour breeze moving from left to right, the direction Oklahoma is trying to move against Nebraska. 2nd and 8. And Tinker Owens, the freshman from Miami, Oklahoma, pulls it in. The monster man Dave Mason covering on the play. Tinker is tiny. He's 5'11", 155 pounds, much smaller than his big brother Steve Owens, the Heisman Trophy winner.
Here he is running the sideline pattern, and this is why many coaches think that the wishbone is a tremendous passing formation. The running threat from it is so great that it's difficult to ever have 2 men covering on the wide receiver.
Nice 17-yard play to the 44 of Nebraska, 1st and 10, Oklahoma. Leon Crosswhite. In fast was Dutton and 81 Harper. If you just joined us, Nebraska scored at 7:32 of the first quarter, 49 yards, 9 plays, and with the point after, it is 7-0 with 6:14 to go in the first half. The first of a doubleheader here on ABC tonight at 9 Eastern Time. Texas A&M. Robertson of Oklahoma. No gain. John Dutton. That giant of a right tackle, joined by Bob Nelson from Stillwater, Minnesota, number 57. A huge scoreboard on the far side of the field here at Memorial Stadium. Sellout crowd again.
There's no way of turning that corner unless you can tie the tackle up. They've got 1 more man out there than you have.
Actually, a loss of a yard to the 45, so it'll be 2nd down and 11. Owens to the near side from the wishbone. And Robertson had to run as his receivers were covered. Rich Glover and Dutton and Harper all there to do a fine job for a defense that has allowed an average of a little over 7 points a game. They've recovered 20 fumbles. They've intercepted 12 passes. The black shirt platoon of Coach Bob Devaney, and this is Chuck Fairbanks, quarterback. There is Chuck, graduate of Michigan State. And now Johnny Rodgers goes deep, awaiting a Joe Wiley punt on 4th down. And the Sooners, Tom Brahaney, who snapped the ball, tried desperately to keep it in the field of play and down it after it was kicked 44 yards by Joe Wiley. 4:45 to go in the first half. The score, 7-0, Nebraska.
In 1818, Lord Byron wrote a pretty good Camaro commercial. There is a pleasure in the pathless woods. There is a rapture on the lonely shore. There is society where none intrudes by the deep sea, and music in its roar. I love not man the less, but nature the more. Getting away. That's what the new 73 Camaro Type LT is all about. LT for luxury touring, for luxurious interior trim and appointments, and special instrumentation. LT for the privacy and luxury of quiet, for standard power steering, and a 350 V8 engine. LT for 73, a new Camaro that's a better way to get away.
What a weekend for college football. Oklahoma, Nebraska, with the Cornhuskers leading 7-0 now. Texas, Texas A&M tonight. And Michigan, Ohio State on Saturday. More about that later. From the 20, that is Bob Ravel, getting about 4 yards on that pass from sophomore David Hum. Randy Hughes covering defensively.
Something about that ball coming off the left side that looks a little bit unusual, and it does change the timing for the defense.
Ravel now goes to the opposite side, and between the split end and the tackle, Johnny Rodgers, number 20, on a 2nd down and 6 from the 24. Dave Gaylor. Stopped by David Smith, but not until he had gained the necessary yardage for a Cornhusker first down.
Just look about the Oklahoma offensive injuries. They're playing without 2 defensive starters, linebacker Milstead and N. Bacchus.
Rodgers at the top of your screen. Ravel opposite on a first down. Here is Dan Kroger. And 3 Sooners helping to bring him down, including Selman, Halfman, 43, Rod Schote.
It's an interesting thing and a tribute to both coaching staffs. A game with as much on the line as this one has, and not a single penalty thus far in the game.
Vance Carlson is the referee, with Bob Claseres, Wendell Winkler, John McClintock, Chet Laney, and Ed Merrifield. 2nd down and 10 for Nebraska. Frosty Anderson to the far side. David Hum. And there's a desire on both teams today to win this ball game, because the Big 8 title is at stake. Oklahoma smarting from the 35-31 victory last year by Nebraska. Kearney and Selman making the tackle.
I thought I'd jinxed him a little bit there, Chris, talking about no penalties. He made the jump, but he showed his agility by jumping back without touching anybody.
With the ball about at the 38, this is the 3rd down play. Nebraska leading 7-0, 2:45 to go in the first half. Rodgers to the far side. Anderson, 89 to the near side. Hum to Anderson. And it's a first down. Nebraska at the 42 of Oklahoma. A 20-yard play, number 89, Frosty Anderson, 40, Anderson's son. So Anderson will get a rest following that 20-yard gain as Bob Ravel, number 84, comes back into the lineup, going to the far side of the field. At the Oklahoma 42, Bill Olds is the fullback, Gaylor the I-back, and Rodgers the flanker. Double wing formation. Loading one out to Rodgers. Look at that move. A marker is down upfield. Johnny Rodgers may have, did he step out of bounds? Let's see. Yes, the official up by the 30-yard line said that Rodgers went out of bounds.
Once you've gone out of bounds, you're out of the play. You cannot come back into the field of play as an offensive player and make the play. Let's take a look at it again. Here he is going down the field. Let's watch the sideline, and you can see that he was out of bounds there. He's ineligible to return to the field on that play.
One thing we're thankful for is to have such great technical people and production people here on our ABC Sports team, Bud. Because just look at that. That was beautifully done. And, of course, I got to thank my spotter, Bill Friel, because he saw that Mr. Rodgers had stepped out of bounds.
And Kenneth Pope is happy that he gave him enough of the belt to knock him out of bounds, because he was off balance, which is what took him out there.
All right. Now, Nebraska fans, this is their home field. They're not too keen about that. But from the 43 now, 2nd down. And Gaylor, number 28, carrying on the play. And 43, Schote, along with 44, David Smith, a junior from Houston, Texas, on the tackle. Don't forget tonight, here on ABC at 9 Eastern Time, it'll be Texas A&M, a renewal of another rivalry, a Thanksgiving Day rivalry, Bud.
And that has Darrell Royal trying to go absolutely undefeated in the Southwest Conference. He's already won the championship. Win tonight, they'll have an undefeated year in the Southwest.
All right, from the 40, 3rd down and 7 for Nebraska. They lead 7-0. A minute 30 to go in the first half. And Johnny Rodgers, the intended receiver,
That's the first time Oklahoma's put the rush on. It was very effective. Hum had to throw before he was ready and a little bit before Rodgers was ready.
So with a 4th down and 7 coming up, David Hum now has thrown 19 times, completing 7 for 79 yards. Threw 17 touchdown passes this year, but right now his punter, Rich Sanger, will do the booting.
Oklahoma does not believe that he's going to punt. They're just playing a normal defense, and nobody is back to handle the kick.
Minute 22 to go in the first half. And it has a Nebraska bounce written all over it. That was Rich Baugh of Fremont, Nebraska, number 24, that covered it, and the officials say that it is at the 16. So the Sooners, who trail 7-0, have a minute and 15 seconds on the clock here as the bands begin to form, including the Pride of Oklahoma band and the Nebraska band. And we'll have Coach's Corner, and it's the Colorado Buffalo coach, Eddie Crowder. I think we'll like his impression because he's a young man that defeated Oklahoma. He and his team, for their only loss of the year. Crosswhite was stopped by Monty Johnson.
Rick Glover, the middle guard, is a tremendous defensive football player. Oklahoma's respect for him is well shown in these pictures of 2 men going against Glover. That time it was Brahaney and Jones as Crosswhite hit over the middle.
Tinker Owens. Carroll still not back in the lineup as Joe Washington carries.
This is one time, Chris, where the wishbone is really not as effective a formation. When you begin to race the clock and you don't have wide receivers out where you can open up the play, it's very difficult to move the length of the field in a short period of time.
They gained a yard on that play, so it'll be 3rd down and 5.
From a coaching standpoint, the moral of that story is that you shouldn't be behind.
Well, Nebraska went ahead on a 49-yard march in 9 plays. To score the only touchdown.
Summer Olympic Games were televised in an unprecedented manner by ABC Sports, and the gold medal coverage continues on a regular basis. ABC's Wide World of Sports, the distinguished award-winning series, spans the globe in search of excitement and human emotion. ABC is the only network with collegiate and professional football, the pageantry, spectacle, and the classic rivalries of college football, and NFL Monday Night Football with the great teams plus our own trio of Frank, Dandy, and Howard. NBA basketball, speed and grace Sunday afternoons and at prime time during the playoffs. The American Sportsman depicting the thrill and the challenge of the outdoors. The popular Professional Bowlers Tour live with all the great bowlers in its 12th year. ABC Sports covers the outstanding motor races, including the classic Indianapolis 500. Golf, the United States Open, PGA Championship, British Open, and 10 other great tournaments. The all-star lineup, it's all here on ABC Sports.
So with only 27 seconds remaining here in the first half on a 3rd and 5, Leon Crosswhite carried on the play as we look at a young man that re-injured an ankle that he injured last week after gaining 135 yards in the first half. Greg Pruitt of Oklahoma.
And he really does feel badly. This was the game he'd looked forward to. Oklahoma losing last Thanksgiving Day. He'd been waiting for a year to play this game. And
Rich
Pruitt
Glover was
was
shaken up on a previous play. His replacement is John Bell, number 66.
Nebraska took the timeout. 21 seconds remaining. The clock would have run out. They'd like to have their hands on the ball and try a couple of passes.
The second part of our ABC Sports doubleheader of NCAA college football, covered exclusively, features Texas and Texas A&M. That's at 9 Eastern Time, Bud.
And it'll be a great game. Battle of the Wishbones. Texas A&M having gone to the wishbone formation this year.
All right, Joe Wiley will punt. We have Rodgers and Borg, 20 and 19 back. Nebraska leading 7-0, 17 seconds left in the first half, and Rodgers just watches it roll around the 45 as Burgett downs it for the Sooners. A 32-yard punt, so Nebraska will have it at their own 45. Saturday here on ABC at 1 Eastern Time, another royal battle between Ohio State and the Michigan Wolverines. Loose ball. On the clock, we see 5 seconds. It's recovered by Derlin Moore. There you see 5 seconds, and the ball is spotted at the 28 of Nebraska.
Tough decision for Chuck Fairbanks. Do you kick the field goal now, or do you run one play and hope that the pass will be complete or incomplete within 5 seconds?
Bud, what would you do?
I'd kick the field goal.
All right. Boy, it didn't take the coach long, did it, to make a decision?
I don't know whether I'm going to get agreement here, but I think I am.
Yes, out on the field comes number 8. Rich Fulcher of Cupertino, California, a senior, who has kicked 7 of 11. He missed earlier on a 41-yard field goal. And now let's see where Robertson will set this one up at the 35. It's a 45-yard field goal attempt. Rahaney snapping the ball. Here's the try. Not enough distance. Glahak put a tremendous rush, but the kick was far short. So Oklahoma now has missed on 2 field goals, one of 41 and one of 45, and there's no more time here in the first half as Nebraska maintains its 7-0 lead, and will return for halftime activities after station identification.
It's Laughs American Style on Love American Style tomorrow night on ABC.
Again in the second half. Gee. Howdy. Well, it's halftime at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska on, well, there isn't a cloud in the sky. It's absolutely gorgeous. A little on the chilly side, but it's football weather with Nebraska leading 7-0. And for those of you that joined us late, following a muff fair catch after a punt, Nebraska got the ball at the Oklahoma 49, and in methodical fashion, they went 49 yards in 9 plays with their fullback Bill Olds scoring and Sanger kicking the extra point. And that's just the score we have now, 7-0 at halftime. Oklahoma tried twice on field goals, a 41-yarder and a last-second field goal ending the first half of 45 yards, failing on both. One thing about failing, the 2 bands will not fail because they're both great. And we'll have Coach's Corner, and our guest coach today is Coach Eddie Crowder. And now the Oklahoma band coming out on the field. And they have a couple of attractive young ladies. The twirlers, Miss Michelle Perry of Tulsa and Miss Jeannie Tyler of Garland, Texas. Here's the band. Well, the opening fanfare introduces a program by the Pride of Oklahoma band of 192 members. The exciting sounds of tradition are followed by now by the lyrical strains of Matchmaker. Trumpet solo coming up by Mr. Jack Foote. There you are. Matchmaker by the Pride of Oklahoma Band from Norman. And now the jazz rock group Chicago has produced a lot of albums this past year. One of their million record sellers included Saturday in the Park. Okay, the Pride of Oklahoma Band. And what better tune here on Thanksgiving Day when there's a lot to be thankful for than playing America the Beautiful.
This is Thanksgiving Day, a day when all Americans traditionally pause and reflect, a time when the American dream, though diverse in its specific interpretation, is shared by all and re-examined. And yet, more simply, this is a day of warm family reunion and the traditional Thanksgiving feast. We invite you to pause now with the University of Oklahoma Band in saying, America, truly the beautiful.
And as they leave the field, the Pride of Oklahoma Band with traditional Boomer Sooner. On the far side, the thanks Bob is for Coach Bob Devaney, coaching in his last regularly scheduled game. He's been here 11 years and a near perfect record. And a perfect performance by the Oklahoma Band. More with the Coach's Corner soon. To our nation's colleges and universities. And that's why the best in medical attention is given to the college athlete. For instance, here at the University of Michigan, the Sports Services Building, head trainer Lindsey McLean and his staff care for the Wolverine athletes. McLean's staff has 4 certified trainers, 2 of which are registered physical therapists. In addition, 2 doctors, an internist, and orthopedic surgeon are on call.
The athlete is not only treated for his injuries, but is also helped in the rehabilitation phase. The best in equipment is used, and here at Michigan, the training staff is always looking for new and better ways. The whirlpool is familiar, but they've discovered that cold instead of hot water is sometimes better. Here, an assistant trainer keeps ice bags handy for treatment. A major institution will spend $10,000 to $15,000 a year to keep well supplied with tape and medicines. Michigan, like other NCAA schools, cares about its student athletes. Halftime score here in Lincoln, Nebraska. The Cornhuskers 7, the Sooners nothing. And now let's go to Coach's Corner and our colleague, Bill Fleming.
Thank you, Chris. Coach's Corner is brought to you by the Travelers Insurance Companies and Travelers agents and brokers everywhere. And our special guest today on Coach's Corner is the head football coach of the Colorado Golden Buffaloes, Mr. Eddie Crowder, himself a graduate of the University of Oklahoma. Well, Coach Crowder, you've seen an exciting 30 minutes. Is it exactly like you thought it was going to be at halftime?
No, actually, Bill, I've been somewhat surprised with the number of critical errors. I also have been very impressed, particularly with the quarterback play by David Humm, an outstanding sophomore.
Coach, let's take a look at our player board here and take a look at how Nebraska started out this ball game. We saw the double wing a couple of times, and then they used it in a very, very critical situation to score.
Well, this was unquestionably the big play, the big play of the first half. David Humm, the quarterback for Nebraska, had already had third and long yardage twice in the drive, and he'd hit passes on those situations. He had third and 10 approximately at the 10-yard line, and he went with the draw play. He was in the spread formation, which I've got. He went with the draw play, dropped back to pass, handed off to, I believe the back in this case was Olds, who broke on the draw play up the right side of the offense into the end zone for the touchdown, which has been the difference in the game till now.
You know, it's amazing how breaks really determine the outcome of a game, especially when teams are so high. You know, as we were watching the game here, when that one break occurred, when the missed fair catch came, you could almost tell that Nebraska was going to take advantage of it.
Well, Bill, Nebraska's had an amazing ability in those situations when they get a break to convert them to touchdowns. Oklahoma's had a couple of breaks and has not been able to do so, and that's been the difference.
Well, in just a moment, we'll take a look at some of the crucial plays in this first half of play as the Cornhuskers of Nebraska lead the Sooners of Oklahoma here at halftime, 7-0.
Last year, we at the Travelers set up our Office of Consumer Information, a place you could call to have the mysteries of insurance explained in plain English without any fear of getting sold something in the process. Since then, we've had over 40,000 telephone calls and letters. And out of this experience, we've put together a booklet that answers some of the most important questions people have been asking us. Questions like, why do some insurance claims take so long to collect? If you turn in a claim, will your insurance automatically be canceled? What's this health care they're talking about in Washington? Just call us, and we'll send you a copy free. Or call us if you have any questions or problems about insurance. After all, now that we know that human beings and insurance companies really can talk with each other, we both might learn something.
You know, Coach Crowder's team defeated Oklahoma, handed the Sooners their only loss of the year. So Eddie is certainly in a position to be an expert here this afternoon. You know, both teams seem very tight at the beginning of the ball game.
No, they sure did. I was particularly interested to see that David Humm, who's now played 10 ball games as a sophomore, threw the ball with a little wobble on it.
That's right. It was kind of like a knuckleball.
Yes, and yet he picked it up. Toward the end of the first half, he did a lot better. So I'm satisfied in the second half we're going to see better throwing on the part of both teams.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the plays in that first half, and I think this wobbly pass that Eddie talked about is very evident here.
This first play shows David Humm at quarterback. The fake to his tailback, and you can see that there's a real wobble on this ball. David was thrown a little bit off balance. The ball goes for Johnny Rodgers. It's thrown a little high, and Rodgers was injured on the play, but did recover to come back in later in the half.
And after we saw that, everybody in the stands here just groaned when he was hit, and it's amazing that he was able to come back. Now let's take a look at the scoring play. This is the one that Coach Crowder had on the drawing board.
So this play is the draw play. You see it is from the double wing. David Humm drops back, palms the ball off to Bill Olds, the outstanding Nebraska fullback. great blocking in the right side of the line as Oklahoma reacts to pass, and it's Olds crossing the 10-yard line, the 5, and the goal line for the touchdown.
And that is the only score of this ball game so far. Oklahoma had a critical play. It was a 4th and 1 situation, and they were near the midfield line, and then they had a back go the wrong way on the option. And, of course, it was an embarrassing moment.
Yes, you can see the right halfback here goes to the right, while the other two backs move to the left on the option. The quarterback now is left deserted with the ball, and having had that happen, I know that's an awful feeling for the quarterback. In fact, at this point, the quarterback does not realize there is no trail halfback, and as you can see, at this point, he is starting to pitch the ball. He looks, there's nobody there. He tried to bring it back, but no chance.
So that was a 4th and 1, and of course, the Sooners then gave up the football. The other play that we have outlined for you here is the pass from Robertson to John Carroll.
Here you can see Robertson making a superb fake. The fake goes into the middle of the line. He does drop back, sets, and he fires it with a great deal on the ball, as you can see. Great leaping catch by John Carroll, who later in the half was hurt and has not played since catching a pass later from Robertson in the second quarter, injured. But you can see the passing game for Oklahoma has been effective. Just inconsistency has kept them from scoring.
Well, Coach, what do you look for here in the second half of play? It certainly isn't a determined outcome yet.
Not at all. I expect to see the game remain rather tight in scoring simply because both defenses are so good. I would say whichever team throws the ball better in the second half is unquestionably going to be the winner.
Well, incidentally, we'll be looking forward here on ABC on December the 30th at 4 o'clock Eastern Time as Colorado's Golden Buffaloes take on Auburn in the Gator Bowl.
Great. Delighted to be with you.
Coach Eddie Crowder, our guest today, here on the Coach's Corner in this game between Oklahoma and Nebraska. Coach's Corner is brought to you by the Travelers Insurance Companies and Travelers Agents and Brokers everywhere. All right, as the band from Nebraska takes leave of the field here at halftime, we'll take a look at our statistics here at halftime. In the first 30 minutes of play, the most important statistic of all, of course, is that the Sooners are trailing 7-0 to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. But it's been a very even football game. First downs are 7 apiece, and the offensive plays, there's only one play that Nebraska has in an advantage over Oklahoma. But the big thing is up on the scoreboard, Nebraska leading by the score of 7-0. Back in just a moment.
Hail to the men of Texaco, men of the Texaco Star.
We like to think that Texaco, we've got everything for your car.
They've got gasoline, motor oils, antifreeze, coolant too, oil filters, lubricants, accessories for you.
All the things that keep your engine up to par, we've got everything for your car. That's why you can trust your car to the man who has the start for the kind of products that can take care of your car at every Texaco station. Clean across the nation, you can trust your car to the man who has the star, the big bright Texaco star.
The Hawks trail 14-13 with just 5 seconds left in the ball game. Riley drops back to pass. He's throwing deep, way down from McKee. He's got it. Touchdown, the Hawks win it.
After 4 tough quarters, you're ready for more than one cold beer. And that means you're ready for Schaefer.
Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
Since the days of the land run in Oklahoma, men and women have been striving for the good life. At the University of Oklahoma, the home of the Sooners, quality education born through a tradition of academic excellence has provided the opportunity for more than 86,000 graduates to achieve that life. With more than 23,000 students, OU is built on an academic structure of 16 colleges on the Norman campus and the Health Sciences Center campus in Oklahoma City, each endeavoring to provide a solid foundation for the young men and women whose desire for knowledge has brought them to the institution of higher education. This is the university in the land of the Sooners, where students of all ages and interests can come to learn. The University of Oklahoma, where learning is a natural thing. The Oklahoma-Nebraska game is being brought to you by General Motors and the people who make Chevrolet, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, Cadillac, Opel, and GMC trucks, all with the GM mark of excellence. By Monroe shock absorbers and front and rear load leveler stabilizing units. By Texaco and the many thousands of Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states. Trust Texaco to have the right gasoline for you. And by the United States Tobacco Company, makers of Mark IV, a noble cigar. With me right now is Mr. Bob Lund, General Sales Manager of Chevrolet Motor Division. And Bob, it's just wonderful to have you here, and we're thankful that Chevrolet has provided so many scholarships to both of these institutions.
Well, Bill, Chevrolet is grateful and thankful for having had the opportunity to provide scholarships for these two schools. And I totaled it up this afternoon, and I noted that these two schools, or players from these two schools, have provided a total of in excess of $16,000 in Chevrolet scholarship funds thus far in the last 2 years. And with today's game, of course, that means $2,000 more. And actually, the outstanding offensive and defensive player awards could possibly come from these two teams.
Very easily could, and we'll see you on the night of December the 18th for those presentations.
That's right.
Also after today's game. Now, let's go back to Chris Schenkel for the start of the second half.
And it'll be Nebraska kicking from right to left to the Oklahoma Sooners. Nebraska's in the lead 7-0. 2 men deep now for the Oklahoma Sooners. The touchdown coming at 7:32 of the first quarter, a 49-yard margin, 9 plays. Joe Washington moving laterally now for the Sooners, and it's a fine run back of the kickoff starting the second half, bringing the ball back to the 29-yard line. 22-yard return by freshman Joe Washington. So the Sooners, who trail by 7 points, have a 1st and 10. Referee Vance Carlson has spotted the ball at the 28-yard line. The Sooners have the wind to their back. As Tinker Owens goes to the far side, it's obvious that John Carroll has not recovered from his injury in order to be back in. And here is Joe Washington, hemmed in. Joe Blahak, number 27, was one of the tacklers that moved rapidly on the play that was trying to come outside.
Greg Pruitt started the game, but his ankle injury slowed him up so much that he has not played after about the first 6 or 8 minutes.
Loss of 2 yards on the play. It'll be a 2nd down and 12 for the Sooners, who come into this game ranked number 4 in the country with an 8-1 record. 4-1 in the Big 8, while Nebraska's 8-1-1 and 5-0 in the Big 8. So this is the game for the Big 8 championship. Leon Crosswhite, number 17, carrying on the play.
I would guess, Chris, that Oklahoma will begin to pass the ball on 1st down rather than waiting for the late downs to throw it. Nebraska, when they feel that Oklahoma is going to run the ball, has been very effective, and if they can get a long yardage situation and then force pass, of course, they can double cover on the split end Tinker Owens.
Tom Brahaney of Midland, Texas, over the ball now on a 3rd down and 10, and they punt on 3rd down. Joe Wiley and Borg, Randy Borg of Alliance, Nebraska, brought the ball in following a 30-yard journey. So the first 3rd down kick of the afternoon, and to me it's dangerous to give Nebraska the ball. They're just great.
They were hopeful that by breaking the huddle quickly and running what amounted almost to a quick kick, that they'd catch Nebraska without a safety man back. The Cornhuskers read it well.
So from the 41, 1st down, David Hum in at quarterback. And the lefty spots his man Bob Ravel. Ravel is out of bounds across midfield at about the 47, with Roach 26 and Hughes 19 covering for the Sooner defense. So it's a 1st down as we look at the men up front. Ravel, White, Anderson, Dumler, Barron, Crenshaw, and List. There's Ravel, 84, coming to the near side. Rodgers is in the slot on a 1st and 10 from the 47. What a defensive play by Randy Hughes, leaping high to knock it away from Bob Ravel, who had beaten him.
And what a great fake by Bill Olds. It's very seldom that our cameramen are fooled.
Hum now has completed 8 of 21 for 90 yards. The touchdown, the only one of the game, coming on a run by Bill Olds of 14 yards on a beautiful play in the first quarter. Anderson to the near side of the field, 2nd down and 10. defensively, Oklahoma's alert on Gaylor, 28. Raymond Hamilton, number 96, 6'1", 240 pounds, bringing him down, joined by Vic Kearney, number 31.
Sprint draw play. Hamilton going against White, driving off of White, just shedding him literally, and then moving in to make the tackle.
Nebraska has the ball. Play. Excuse me, Bud. Nebraska has the ball at the 46 of Oklahoma, 3rd down and 9. Great defensive play. Ball loose. Let's see. They said that was no fumble.
Boy, that's a little hard for me to believe, Chris. I hope we
like
get another look at
whistle.
it.
Wow. Derlin Moore is over the ball. Let's see it again.
Hum dropping back, getting a hard rush, and that ball certainly looked to me to be a fumble, and Oklahoma recovered, but the referee standing there ruled otherwise.
A 12-yard loss, 4th down and 21. Here's the kick by Sanger. It's a beauty. Joe Wiley is deep, letting it go through or into the end zone for a touchback. So we have 12 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter with Nebraska leading 7-0, and we've just seen a 54-yard punt by Sanger of the Cornhuskers. We'll return for more action following this message from one of our many sponsors.
One of the nicest things about getting automobile coverage from a Continental insurance agent is the special emergency number he gives you to use when he isn't around. It lets you call for quick claim service at any time of day or night, even on weekends.
Dial a claim. May I help you?
Yes, my wife is having an accident.
Right now is the time for winter tires. And at your Goodyear service store or participating dealer, you can get Goodyear's Sure Grip winter tires with 192 deep, rugged cleats to give a big grip at this low price. Goodyear, America's best-selling winter tires.
With 12:06 to go in the 3rd quarter, Nebraska leads Oklahoma 7-0. They're everywhere here. Capacity crowd, standing room only crowd, some of them up high. Joe Washington taking a Dave Robertson handoff from the 20-yard line following a long punt, which went into the end zone as John Dutton made the tackle for Nebraska.
We felt starting the game that Oklahoma's ability to have favorable down and distance was going to be the key to their offense, and 1st down is, of course, where this all starts. That's the 2nd longest gain they've made on 1st down this afternoon. On their first possession, they made 5 yards. Last time, they made 4.
2nd down and 6 now. And the quarterback, Dave Robertson, trying to skirt the far flank, is stopped by Dutton, number 90, and number 55, co-captain Bill Jansen of Grand Forks, Nebraska. And we've just received word that Greg Pruitt, the Oklahoma star back, will not return to the game today, having re-injured himself. Here's that fumble.
This is the possession previous where Hum is back to pass, and he is hit, and you can see the ball is already loose before he's even close to going to the ground. The official behind him, Cochran, the referee, I think was screened by Hum, but there are a lot of other officials out there that are all supposed to be watching it too. I can't feel that was a good call.
Leon Crosswhite carried on that last play on a 3rd down and 3, which brings up a 4th down and 1 from approximately the 29 of Oklahoma. So Joe Wiley, number 22, comes into the Oklahoma lineup with 10:36 to go in the 3rd quarter. Nebraska leading 7-0, a punting situation. In anticipation, Johnny Rodgers is deep. There's Wiley for Haney to snap the ball to his fellow Sooner. It's a high punt. Rodgers looking at it, taking an Oklahoma bounce and out of bounds at approximately the 28. 44 yards on the punt by Joe Wiley. Don't forget tonight at 9 Eastern time here on ABC, the Texas Longhorns and the Aggies at Texas A&M.
The Battle of the Wishbones.
And but I know that we're heading east to Columbus, Ohio, to televise the game on Saturday between Michigan and Ohio State. On the 28, first down. Hum for about 3 yards. Pete Halfman, number 36 of Sacramento, California, in the white jersey, moved fine to the far side.
And that was a new wrinkle. The fake up the middle, the option play being run by Hum with Johnny Rodgers as the trailing back to have the option to pitch to him. If he gets it, it's something.
The ball for Nebraska is across their own 30-yard line. Let's call it 2nd and 8 as we look at Hum, the sophomore. Knocked down by number 43, Rod Schote of Spiro, Oklahoma, one of the linebackers for the Oklahoma defense. The Oklahoma defense now has knocked down 3 forward pass attempts today, Bud.
And that was great recovery there. It was a very quick fake into the line, and to read it well enough to be up high enough to knock the pass down. Marvelous play by Schote.
3rd down and 8 for Nebraska from the 30. Hum. And it's incomplete. Lucius Selman really put the rap on the quarterback, Dave Hum, on the play. So Hum now has thrown 23 times. He has completed 8, and there is Joe Wiley deep for Oklahoma with a 4th down and 8 coming up.
And the tension continues to mount.
All right, two passes and a run on that series by Nebraska. Sanger's kick now. Score is 7-0. Wiley has it. Wiley's looking for some blockers. And there is a wrist tackle, but a loose ball, as Jerry List may have gotten on it for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Wow. So the Cornhuskers have done it again.
It's the 4th turnover by Oklahoma. 3 in the first half, and 1 here in the second.
And the first time that this happened, Nebraska went 49 yards to score. It's 7-0 with 9:15 to go. And the ball is inside the 25 at the 24 of Oklahoma. And on the flanker around play, Johnny Rodgers picks up some yardage. Rod Schote in on the tackle along with Kenneth Pope.
Oklahoma's done a great job thus far against Rodgers. He only needs just a little bit of breathing space, a little bit of daylight to take it all the way, but they've thus far kept him very well bottled up.
So the native of Omaha is at the top of your screen, number 20 on a 2nd and 7 from the 31. And Dave Gaylor, that little delay, done it again. To the 5. 1st and goal.
And as they did in the first half, after getting the break on field position, Nebraska seems to pick up, generate a little extra on offense.
1st and goal from the 5. David Hum calling signals, number 12. That was Gaylor, number 28. Raymond Hamilton hit him first. Then number 28, Kenneth Pope, along with Rod Schote, number 43. So it's 2nd down and goal at the 4.
The tailback is back 6 yards on the Nebraska I formation, which gives him lots of time and room to read as he hits in. That time, Gaylor cut it way back to the short side.
They need 4 yards. Johnny Rodgers gets up and goes in, but apparently he was down at the 1. Boy, he loves that end zone. He's been in there 17 times this year. 8 by way of catching passes and 7 rushing.
Here's the play again.
You
can see if he was down. He definitely was down without any question, but he bounced up and in.
Now it's 3rd and goal from the 1. And the Oklahoma defense put about 10 men up on the line, and they deny Nebraska a touchdown, so it'll be 4th down and goal.
This is a little decision for Bob Devaney. Do you kick an almost sure field goal or that close to the goal line, or are you going to go for the touchdown?
A freshman, Leroy Selman, made his first play of the game. He has a brother, Lucius Selman, whom we've talked about before. 4th down and goal. And up and over. Touchdown, Dave Gaylor. 24 yards, 6 plays. Gaylor's 8th touchdown of the year, and it's 13-0.
Let's watch it again. They've got a jam down below, and he is up, over, scoring by about a foot or two.
Sanger now will try the point after. Also good. 6:45 remaining in the 3rd quarter here in Lincoln, Nebraska. The Cornhuskers lead 14-0.
Any good news, Julius?
Mark IV.
I see but one.
Verily, such stuff as dreams are made of. Mark IV.
Ah, thy cigar. What a noble thing it is. Tell me, hast thou struck it rich? 20 cents. Noble.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me thy box. Take this 4-pack for thy toga pocket.
There are still some good things. Mark IV.
A noble cigar.
We all know that wheels roll. Many of us, though, forget that wheels also bounce. If your car wheels were allowed to bounce unrestricted, there'd be no way to control your car. That's what shock absorbers are for, to keep your wheels from bouncing out of control. If your shocks are worn, they can't do their job. We know. At Monroe, we make shock absorbers. When was the last time you had your shock absorbers checked?
Back again at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. We have 6 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Nebraska's just scored again following a punt recovery. As we have Joe Wiley and Joe Washington deep for the Oklahoma Sooners. Rich Sanger, who's been successful in 2 conversions, moves to the ball. 14-0 the score, Nebraska. This is Washington coming to the 15, 20. And there is a freshman that shows a great deal of promise. 24 yards in 6 plays, Nebraska scoring. It was Gaylor who went up and over from the 1.
People who have followed the Sooner football team know that Greg Pruitt is not in the game, their leading ball carrier. Also, they lost their leading pass receiver. I think it's just a reporting, not an excuse for them, but Carroll hurt his knee in the first half also and has been replaced by a freshman, Tinker Owens.
He's to the left. Here's a pass to Tinker. Knocked away. Zeralian covering beautifully.
He timed it. I think the Oklahoma's going to continue to do that first down passing. They have to. Well, Nebraska has been too tough on first down against the run.
6 minutes, 31 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. It is 14-0 here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Tinker Owens, number 11, to the far side from the wishbone. Here's Robertson. Tinker going deep. Tinker has it.
Robertson put it right on target.
155
double coverage on Tinker. Good inside fake. This is a young freshman from Miami, Oklahoma, the brother of Steve Owens. Tinker, a freshman at the university, running a little weave pattern, and Robertson had it right on target.
Now the 155-pounder goes left or to the top of your screen. The play starts now from the 38 of Nebraska. And Chandler couldn't hold on to it. 28-yard play, and then this attempt in hitting Al Chandler. So it'll be a 2nd down and 10.
And a real switch in tactics by a wishbone team. 4 straight passes.
OU with a 2nd and 10 from approximately the 38 of Nebraska. Nebraska leading 14-0. And here comes Tinker on an end around. And that's it.
And that is great defense. They first reverse that Oklahoma has run in the entire game. The Nebraska defenders truly read beautifully. They were not fooled even a step.
3rd down and 14 from the 42. Nebraska leading 14-0. Tonight at 9 Eastern Time, it's Texas A&M. Saturday, 1 Eastern Time, Ohio State, Michigan here on ABC. Washington left. That was Albert Chandler, slipping but covered by Blahak, number 27, at approximately the 26.
Many people believe
first down.
Chandler is the best tight end in the country. He's 6'2", 233 pounds. The Oklahoma line gave Robertson great protection on this play. He had about 5 or 6 counts to throw the ball. Chandler weaved and then came across the field, and Robertson had it right on the numbers for the first down.
16-yard play. So now Oklahoma with it at the 26 of Nebraska, trailing 14-0 with about 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Owens, number 11, to the left. Crosswhite with Braheny blocking. Rich Glover in on the play along with Manstedt.
And that's what passing will do to the running defense. He picked up 6 yards that time. First time they've been able to really move it on first down on the ground.
So from the 20 now, it's Owens left, Wishbone in the backfield, Robertson the quarterback, 2nd and 4. Owens. Tinker Owens. What a fine young ball player. Tiny but good. Sort of reminiscent of Tommy McDonald, a former Sooner.
He looks like he's got that same big heart. He was up higher than he could reach to make that catch.
A lot of heart in Miami, Oklahoma. Bud.
This has been a great drive by Oklahoma at a time when they needed it. They've just fallen behind 14-0. You've got to move it there to stay in the game.
They started this drive at their own 24. Now they have a 1st and goal. Robertson. Got a pretty good idea of the quickness, the smartness of the Nebraska defense, which was led by number 81, Willie Harper, All-American last year.
When he turned up inside, I thought he'd take it all the way, but they do recover well.
Say, Bud, speaking of All-America, the Kodak All-America show will be here on ABC following the Ohio State-Michigan game on Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time. The Buckeye-Wolverine game beginning at 1 Eastern. Now it's 2nd down and goal from the 4. Number 82, Manstedt from Omaha on Leon Crosswhite. Manstedt is from Wahoo, Nebraska. The ball is at the 3. It's a 3rd down and goal. Nebraska leading 14-0.
And the pride of their defensive units, the black shirts, beginning to rise up at this moment.
All right, here's the 10th play of this drive that began at the 24. Bill Jansen helping on the tackle along with Dave Mason. Ball carried by the quarterback, Dave Robertson, and he inches closer to about the 1 with a 4th down and goal.
This is what makes your heart come up in your throat.
The goal line is about a yard away as Oklahoma would like to score. Washington, Crosswhite, and Bergen are in the backfield. Lots of cheering here in Memorial Stadium.
We've mentioned this many, many times, but the only advantage the offensive team has on the defense is the takeoff, knowing the starting count. The offensive linemen can't use their hands and arms. Defensive linemen can. So you've got to be able to hear that count to get the jump, and there's never a time that Oklahoma's needed it more than right at this moment.
Now the big 11th play in this drive as they try to cap a 76-yard scoring march against Nebraska. Owens to the left. Joe Washington, touchdown. Leon Crosswhite throwing a terrific block, helping Washington to get into the end zone. It is 14-6.
The power sweep. No wishbone fake here. Everybody leading and blocking. Burkett, Crosswhite leading him out. Great block by Crosswhite. And some fine running.
All right, Rick Fulcher, who has hit on 29 in a row, will try to make it 30 in a row. It's up and good. So it is now 14-7 with 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the third. We'll be back in a minute.
Holidays are more fun with Holiday Inn. The good food and friendly atmosphere make our party rooms and restaurants perfect for celebrations. Whether you're welcoming the new year with old friends or toasting to a job well done, or giving your wife time out from the holiday rush, or treating your kids to a special holiday dinner.
Enjoy your dinner, sir.
I really recommend Holiday Inn, the most accommodating people in the world.
I don't know what it is about my face, but every Sunday, 11 guys like this go after it. Sometimes they don't miss. So I'm not about to take any rough treatment from a shaver. I got a new Remington Mark III with a comfort head. It has smaller slots, so it gets more of your beard and less of your skin. It has replaceable blades. When they get dull, you change them. With a face like this, you can't be too careful.
Yeah! Remington. We made the close shave comfortable.
On a clear day in Lincoln, Nebraska, Oklahoma, the Sooners and the Cornhuskers meeting, and Oklahoma has just gone 76 yards in 11 plays, with Washington scoring on an outside sweep. Now it's 14-7, and before a capacity crowd setting a season home crowd record for the Cornhuskers, it'll be Nebraska receiving the kick with Rodgers deep. Rick Fulcher will kick. Borg is back along with Rodgers. Excuse me, it is Rich Baugh, number 24. Here's the kick.
Little tackle by the Nebraska man, but they surely didn't want to see that ball bounce on the ground. It's a free ball and a kickoff as soon as it's gone 10 yards.
That was Bryant Longwell, a reserve offensive end that couldn't wait to field that ball and is down at the 28 of Nebraska.
And thus far, Oklahoma has contained Johnny Rodgers. I don't believe that he's ever been contained for 60 minutes.
Johnny's over to the near side, and again, Pope is there with him. And Maury Damkroger. So the Oklahoma defense fired up as a result of the offense moving at 76 yards in 11 plays. That was Larry Roach that tacked the loss on Damkroger between the 25 and 20, or 26 and 27. Second down and 9.
Oklahoma leading the statistical battle, but losing the scoring battle. Those two fumbles in their own territory capitalized on Nebraska for 2 touchdowns.
Johnny Rodgers. And again, Kenneth Pope, whose assignment has been Rodgers, was covering him.
Sort of proves to me that he's human. He dropped one.
Coming into this game, he caught 52 passes. Today, he has rushed for 16 yards. He's caught 2 for 30, and he's returned 1 kick, 26 yards. And, of course, Greg Pruitt, his counterpart for Oklahoma, is on the bench as a result of a re-injury. Third down and 11. 5 defensive backs in for Oklahoma. Jerry List couldn't hang on to the ball. It is 4th down and 11. Punting time.
I don't know how he got so open with 8 men dropping back into the secondary.
Hum has completed 8 of 25 for 90 yards. The 2 scoring drives, 1 of 49 for Nebraska in 9 plays. And then 24 yards in 6 plays. Oklahoma 76 yards in 11 plays, and they get the ball back now. Sanger to punt. Joe Wiley is deep. Here's Wiley, number 22 at the 35, 40, 45. He's nearly up to midfield.
It was a very...
So now, with the score 14-7 and a minute 51 to go in the third quarter, we have quite a ball game going here.
And a very courageous play that time by Wiley. He fumbled the last punt that he had. He had to be moving forward very fast, fielding this one on the run, and he had the courage to do it and also the skill to execute.
But as you know, he's a most unusual man. Makes nothing but A's.
Like you at Purdue.
Hardly. Robertson Tinker Owens is deep. Look out. And Tinker, look at that for a freshman. What a play by a first-year collegian. He knew he couldn't get it, so he goes on defense and knocks it away. Beautiful. Robertson now has thrown 19 times. He has completed 8 for 150 yards. And you can bet that Tinker's brother Steve is watching.
And proud of him.
Here's Robertson, 2nd and 10. Tinker's out again, and in traffic, pulls it in. What a remarkable, small, young football player. I think he must have learned a lot of that courage from those great Miami Indians in Miami, Oklahoma that were.
Let's watch him again, driving down the field against Uralian, and he just breaks inside of the pattern as Mason failed to get in front of the ball.
That went to the 34. Owens now has caught 4 for 82 yards. He's up to the left at the top of your screen now. 1st and 10. And Leon Crosswhite.
Well, they stay tough inside.
Don't they? And one of them that's always tough, number 79. There's Coach Chuck Fairbanks. Against Bob Devaney, 3 and 2. 3 victories for Bob, 2 for Chuck. And here they are battling for the Big 8 title today. So now it's 2nd down and 9 from the 33. Overthrown because the rush on Robertson was vicious by John Dutton, number 90. So that brings up a 3rd down and 9 with a score of 14-7 and 43 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. It was 7-0 at halftime.
I believe Tinker Owens was open that time. If he had time to deliver the ball to him.
Sort of makes moves like J.K. McKay, Coach John McKay's son for Southern California. The team will see a week from Saturday against Notre Dame, right here on ABC. And the rush on the quarterback, Harper and Manstedt. The pinching ends make it 4th down. And the ball is back at the 42.
Oklahoma breaking the formation, going into a double wing formation. There was no back there to pick the end up.
4th down and 18 from the 42. Joe Wiley now. Going to the left, Randy Borg and Johnny Rodgers are deep. There's Wiley. End over end. And it's inside the 10. Very effective. And Tinker Owens was right there to down the ball at about the 8. A 35-yard punt, but more important, where it puts Nebraska in field position. Speaking of field, we'll be in Columbus, Ohio, Saturday for the Ohio State-Michigan game at 1 Eastern time. And what a battle that'll be on this big week of college football exclusively here on ABC. There's still football tonight on ABC, Texas A&M. So we'll have the start of the 4th quarter after this message.
If you built a truck, you'd probably build it the way we did. You'd ask people what they wanted, what they liked, what they disliked. You'd set lofty goals for your truck. Try to make it ride and handle better than any truck before. You'd fill it with improvements people will see, improvements people will feel. You'd test your truck's thousands of parts for thousands of hours and over hundreds of thousands of miles. And when you finished, you'd have a feeling that yours was one of the best designed, best built trucks in the world. Introducing your truck, the 1973 Chevrolet Cheyenne Super.
David Wayne guest stars on the streets of San Francisco Saturday on ABC.
Four and 3.
Not only two Big 8 powers, but two national powers going to the fourth and final quarter here in Lincoln. It is 14-7, Nebraska leading. Nebraska with the ball at their own 8. First and 10, David Hum, the quarterback. And the Oklahoma defense moving in on Dave Gaylor, who scored the second Nebraska touchdown after a 24-yard drive. And on the 6th play, he went up and over.
You've been thinking about this game for a year. Decided the national championship last year, and you come in here to the last 15 minutes with everything still riding.
And, of course, both are bowl-bound. Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl here on ABC, and Nebraska against Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. Hum, knocked down again. That's 4 knockdowns of passes by the Oklahoma front wall. Again, it's Hamilton and Kearney that knock it away. 3rd and 7. Rest of the Oklahoma defense, Pete Halfman, 36, 97 Moore, 44 Smith, 98 Selman, 43 Schote, Pope 28, 16 Ruster, 19 Hughes, and 26 Roche. 3rd and 7. Bill Olds. Olds, who scored the first touchdown for Nebraska, is brought down by Rod Schote, and it's going to be 4th down from the 11.
Let's watch Schote again. Brilliant sophomore linebacker for Oklahoma, simply having speed enough to shoot the gap, avoid the block of Anderson, the guard, and make the tackle against a strong, tough runner, Bill Olds.
So now it'll be Rich Sanger kicking from about his own goal line. And deep we have Joe Wiley. Joe has it. And great field position for the Oklahoma Sooners at the Nebraska 36. That was the length of the punt as Marvin Crenshaw, made the tackle. So let's see what the Sooners can do in the game. 13 minutes, 42 seconds remain.
They're going to have to throw the ball and be play action passing, I would believe, and I'd also guess it's going to be on 1st down.
Field full of All-Americans. At least 3 Heisman Trophy candidates. And now from the 36, Robertson of Oklahoma. Hands off to the fullback, Leon Crosswhite, who is the near back to the quarterback in the wishbone, with the halfbacks flanking him, and behind is Rich Glover and Harper. Make the stop at the 32, a gain of 4.
Oklahoma leading the statistical battle, 241 net yards, and amazingly, they've passed the ball better than they've rushed it. The turnovers are the problem. Oklahoma has lost 4 of them. 2 of them gave Nebraska excellent field position. Nebraska's only lost 3.
2nd down and 6. There's Washington. Joe Washington, one of the 2 freshmen playing on the Sooner team right now. Manstedt on the tackle, along with Monty Johnson. After finishing 1, 2, 3 in the national rankings last year, the Big 8 figured to be hard-pressed for an encore. But here in '72, the Big 8 has again dominated the football team, with 6 of the 8 teams appearing at one time or another in the top 15 in total offense, and 5 Big 8 members being rated in the top 20. It's little wonder that the Big 8 has broken all attendance records. And for the 2nd straight year, this game, Oklahoma-Nebraska, will decide the conference title. 3rd down and 6. Tinker Owens. Boy, there is a dominating split end, number 11. He's filling in for the injured John Carroll, who sustained the injury in the first half. And this freshman has really come on strong.
Double wing formation, just a simple little out pattern. He made a great move, however, to pick up an extra 10 yards. It's first down on the 10-yard line, and that's the toughest place on the field to score.
Tinker now has caught 5 for 103 yards. He goes to the far side, number 11 on that white jersey. It's the wishbone in the backfield. First and 10 from the 10. And Leon Crosswhite. They try their very best to run into those big men up front, including Glover, Dutton, Manstedt, Jansen, Johnson.
They keep hoping that Nebraska will ignore the fullback and expect him to be going wide, but that's been a vain hope all afternoon.
And you just saw Coach Bob Devaney, along with his teams over the years, that have the entire state of Nebraska embracing them. 2nd and 9 now. Robertson looking. Tinker in the end zone, overthrown. And let's see if we have interference called there.
Yes, they did call it, Chris. A little late, but they're going to call it.
There it is, interference against Nebraska.
Let's watch the play. This is what's so great about those replays. If you didn't see it, you get a chance to look at it again and know what happened. Try to turn it up. Here he is. He's coming across, but we lost the tape. We'll try to get it back for you.
And, of course, that makes it first down and goal to go.
Here we go again on the play previous to this. You can see Owens definitely was hit by Uralian before the ball was there.
Oklahoma trying to cap a 36-yard march from the 1, 1st and goal. And driving is number 25, touchdown, Burgett. And now with an extra point, the game can be tied. Let's see if they might try for 2.
Not as much time remaining, Chris. I don't believe they will. I think that if it were anywhere inside the last 5 minutes, they definitely would go for 2. But with 11 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, there's a lot of football. And you can move it down the field again for a field goal or a touchdown.
And you must remember that Oklahoma has scored the last 2 touchdowns. The kick is up and good. Tie ball game. Touchdown coming at 11 minutes, 45 seconds of the 4th quarter, 14-all.
Whenever you're driving and wherever you're bound, on freeways and byways, though country round, you'll feel better knowing anytime, anywhere, that like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
All the while you were on vacation, your State Farm car insurance was working. State Farm Mutual has more than 10,000 agents across the country, so you can count on the same prompt, personal attention everywhere you get from your State Farm agent back here at home.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. State Farm is there.
Back again after 36 yards. Oklahoma, with the point after, has tied the score with Nebraska in the battle for the Big 8. Nebraska 14, Oklahoma 14 with 11:45 left in the game. Nebraska on the receiving end of a kick. Rich Baugh and Johnny Rodgers are deep. Fulcher will move to the ball in a moment. Fulcher's kick. Johnny Rodgers going over. But Baugh takes it. Comes out to the 10, the 15, 20. Finds a little room and then is brought down at about the 25-yard line.
There's the interference call again. Uralian going against Tinker Owens as Owens runs the slant pattern to the inside, and you'll see Uralian hit him here while the ball is in the air well before the ball gets there. The interference call. Oklahoma got the ball there on the 1-yard line. Burgett took it in for the touchdown.
One time Nebraska led 14-0. Now the score is tied at 14-all. Hum, 1st and 10 from his own 26. Rodgers is out. Trying to steal the ball was number 26 in the white jersey. Larry Roach. Second down and 10. We're in the final quarter. We have 11 minutes, 33 seconds left. Hum now has thrown 27 times. He has completed 8 for 90 yards. Touchdown scored by Bill Olds and Gaylor for Nebraska. Washington and Burgett for Oklahoma. Second and 10 for Nebraska. Dave Gaylor, a junior. Pope on the tackle, joined by Randy Hughes and Dave Smith, number 44.
They execute that play extremely well, and Olds does a marvelous job of blocking on the defensive end. This is a key play. They're all key from here on out.
So we have a third down and 3 for Nebraska. Bob Ravel goes to the left. Rodgers is in the slot. Now they put the deep back in motion. Bob Ravel. He had control inbounds at the 38-yard line. That's enough for Nebraska first down.
Watch Ravel, the wide receiver for Nebraska. Little fake upfield and then the out pattern. And he pulled it in. Kept his balance and was inbounds, making the first down for Nebraska.
Last year, Nebraska had to come from behind to win the game of the century, 35-31. It's tied now. First and 10 at the 38. Hum gets away. Then number 44, David Smith of Houston, brings him down, and it's a loss of about 1.5 yards. Second down and 11.
That high hurdle that you just saw by Halfman is indicative of how cleanly this game has been played. We have not had a single penalty thus far this afternoon.
One interference.
Pardon me, the interference penalty that I overlooked just a moment ago was the only penalty that we've had.
All right, that's most unusual. 84 Ravel to the far side. Rodgers is in the slot. Second down and 11 for Nebraska. David Hum. Loose ball. The referee says that Oklahoma has it.
That three-man rush is really effective. You're not supposed to get to the passer when you only have 3 men going in.
Derlin Moore, the 246-pounder, knocked it loose, and Lucius Selman recovered it for the Sooners at the Nebraska 27.
This is Hamilton, number 96, but you can see the rest of the Oklahoma line pouring in. The ball is bounced out. That's Derlin Moore who jarred it loose, and there's the Oklahoma recovery.
Robertson to Joe Washington, the freshman, number 24, on a first and 10 from the 27. Oklahoma has scored the last 2 touchdowns. After being behind 14-0, the score is tied, and we have 9:54 left in the game here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Johnny Pitts on the tackle for the Nebraska defense at the 24, so it'll be a second down and 7.
We've got to hustle.
Remember, John Carroll and Pruitt are not in the lineup because of re-injury. This is Robertson.
He wanted to throw the ball. He optioned a pass run, but the coverage was perfect, and so was the defense against the run.
Led by Monty Johnson and Rich Glover, number 37 and number 79. A loss of a yard. Third down and 8. Coming up to the 9-minute mark of the ball game.
Oh, baby, is this a big one?
Tinker Owens comes to the near side of the field. Washington is in the slot. A double wing formation. That arm was hit. A beautiful defensive play by Nebraska. Jim Branch, number 51, and came in and hit the arm of the quarterback, Dave Robertson.
You're always wondering in that situation, do you put on the big rush? Because obviously the coverage is not nearly as good. You've got to get to the passer. The gamble worked for Nebraska.
And the line of scrimmage is the 25. Oklahoma tried 2 field goals, one of 41 and 44 earlier. Both failing, but they're going to try one now from 41 and a half into about a 7-mile-an-hour wind. Here's the kick. It's up. It appears to be long enough. Oklahoma leads for the first time. 17-14 as they have scored 17 points in a row. We'll be back with 8:44 to go in the game.
Over the years, we at Texaco have done a lot to make your highway traveling as pleasant as possible. And we intend to go right on doing just that. So we're going to build another Texaco service station run by a local businessman. And the plans look like this. Our pumps will be filled with the right Texaco gasolines for you. Over here, you'll find top quality automotive products for your car. But don't get the idea that we just take care of cars. We also take care of the people in them. Here we'll have our restrooms just the way you want them, clean and neat. And you can charge all Texaco services and automotive products on a Texaco travel card, or a Bank AmeriCard, American Express, or MasterCharge. At Texaco, we don't build a service station unless it can serve you a lot of ways.
Number 20 is Johnny Rodgers from Omaha, Nebraska. His team, the Cornhuskers, have just gone behind for the first time as a result of a 41.5-yard field goal by Rick Fulcher of the Sooners. And now the Sooners will kick to the Huskers. Fulcher, number 8. Back deep with Rodgers is Baugh, number 24. We have 8 minutes, 44 seconds left in the game. 17-14 Oklahoma. Here's the kick. It's going to be Rodgers at the 3, 5, 10, 15, 20. Brought down at the 23.
I don't believe, Chris, I've ever seen a game or heard of a game where Rodgers didn't break it at some point during the contest. And he needs to make it this time.
And, of course, this is Bob Devaney's last game as head coach for Nebraska, last regular season game. Of course, they're bowl-bound, looking for his 101st victory. So now, it's Nebraska at their own 23, 1st and 10. And actually, there's the running star thus far for Nebraska, Dave Gaylor, number 28, a junior from Pilger, Nebraska. Kearney mixed the tackle.
Excellent fake by Hum. They had the pass off that same draw play, and Oklahoma read pass when they should have read run.
So now, from about the 37, 1st down. And will we have a repeat of Nebraska's poise of a year ago in Norman when they came from behind and methodically drove down the field with Jerry Taggy and Jeff Kenny? And here this year, it's sophomore David Hum. Dave Gaylor, a junior.
I'd be surprised, Chris, if they can drive it on the ground as they did last year. I think they've got to put it in the air to sustain the drive.
Now it's 2nd down and 7 at the 40 for Nebraska. 17-14. Oklahoma leads with 7:54 to go in the game. Hum. I think somebody missed an assignment.
Oh, yeah, and what a terrible time to miss one.
Smith and Schote quickly in on the quarterback.
Let's take a look at Raymond Hamilton, the Oklahoma right tackle, number 96. Mix up in the backfield. White makes a very good charge, but Hamilton breaks away from him. And as Hum comes into the line, he's there to make the tackle.
Now in a passing situation, Frosty Anderson, number 89 of Scott Bluffs, has come in replacing Bob Ravel. It's a 3rd and 6. Rodgers and Anderson to the near side. Hum, the wing one. Very bad pass. Didn't get it off the way he wanted to. Trying to throw it extremely long. That plus the rush. And it did not spiral for him as Randy Hughes covered Anderson on the play. And it's 4th down and 6.
And Hughes is a little upset. He had the interception, but just didn't watch the ball into his hands.
4th and 6. The line of scrimmage is the Nebraska 41. And back to punt for Nebraska. We have Rich Sanger. Joe Wiley is deep for Oklahoma. That did a 90-degree turn.
Oh, boy.
Boy, oh, boy.
The tide changes. Even the ball bounces wrong.
25 yards, and Oklahoma has the ball at its own 34 with a 1st and 10.
And Oklahoma would like now to see this wishbone rushing attack that led the nation in rushing coming into this game, able to move the ball on the ground and eat up the clock. Nebraska's done a marvelous job against the run.
Tinker Owen at the bottom of your screen or to the near side of the field on a first down. Robertson handing it off to Crosswhite, Leon Crosswhite, the senior fullback from Hennessy. And Leon moved it beyond the 38. And there is that clock on the far side of the field here at Memorial Stadium, 6:40 and running.
From Chuck Fairbank's standpoint, that clock is just moving with molasses slowness, and from Bob Devaney's standpoint, it's moving with great speed.
So it's 2nd down and 5 now from the 39. Robertson keeping it on the ground to Crosswhite. Crosswhite not getting the yardage on that play for the first down. Short by about 3. Jansen on the tackle. These are the Nebraska cheerleaders. Starting to get a little nippy here, a little chilly as the wind comes in and the sun goes down on the plains of Nebraska.
Yeah, but the beating of the hearts are keeping people warm.
3rd down and 3. Tinker Owens, number 11, to the near side of the field on 3rd and 3 with 5:50 left in the game. Oklahoma leading. Washington trying to get that 3. Didn't quite do it. 5:42 left in the game. Oklahoma leading 17-14. There's a result of a 41.5-yard field goal.
Can't criticize the call on the play. That's the play that they scored on, their first touchdown from the 2-yard line. On 4th down, they had a 3rd and 2, and they went with the same play, but Nebraska defensed it perfectly.
One of the great electrifying players of the last 3 years for Nebraska is going off to our left, and there he is, Johnny Rodgers, who today hasn't done what he normally does in these games. And that's pop 1 for long yardage. Joe Wiley will punt. Here's the kick. Rodgers moving up on it, losing the ball, picking it up. Rodgers is down at about his own 33 following a 27-yard punt. Tom Brahaney, who snapped the ball to Wiley, made the stop. So Nebraska, 4:56 to go, trailing by 3, the favorite in this game.
That punt was really low. I thought that Rodgers was going to have an opportunity to make the return, and had he not bobbled it, he very well might have.
Ravel to the far side. Rodgers comes to the near side. As the David Hum looking to Rodgers. There he is. Oh, isn't he something? Speed to spare. Dan Ruster making the tackle on Johnny Rodgers.
And Oklahoma, expecting the pass, rushed only 3 men. Rodgers was out very wide. You could see him just walk and then take that little slant pattern to the inside as the Sooners close on him.
It's a first down for Nebraska near the 45. And knocking the ball but hoping to control it was Dan Ruster, the senior from Littleton, Colorado. Hum trying to hit Johnny Rodgers. 2nd down and 10. Those of you that just joined us, we're in Lincoln, Nebraska, and the Cornhuskers got off to a 14-0 lead, leading only 7-0 at halftime. But then Oklahoma's come back and scored 17 points to lead by 3. Nebraska with the ball with 4:31 left in the game. They have it 2nd and 10 at their own 45. Gaylor carrying, and another big play by Derlin Moore on top of number 44. David Smith on the bottom for the Oklahoma defense.
And time beginning to run out on Nebraska. They've got to sustain it here. Oklahoma can stop them and get the ball. They'll come close to running out that
What a
clock.
game New Year's Eve, Bud, when Oklahoma will face powerful Penn State in the Sugar Bowl right here on ABC. 3rd and 8. Did they control it? And Oklahoma, a Sooner, Kenneth Pope, and what a defensive day he has had. Rod Schote tipped it. Kenneth Pope pulled it in. Pope, a junior from Galveston, Texas.
You know that Johnny Rodgers is going to be around the ball. Pope is right with him here. There's the jump, and the ball tipped and bounced. And Pope is on top of it to make the key interception for Oklahoma. They've got excellent field position. And I believe that I saw the Oklahoma coaches tell quarterback Robertson to keep it on the ground.
And the ball is at the 49 of Nebraska, first down. And we have 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game. Oklahoma 17, Nebraska 14. Robertson to Leon Crosswhite, his senior fullback.
If there's ever a time that Oklahoma wanted a first down, it's now.
Turnovers 5 for Nebraska, 4 for Oklahoma. Clock is running. Second down coming up from the 45 of Nebraska. Second down and 6. Tinker Owens to the far side. Crosswhite again carrying. That was the 25th time that he has carried the ball today. The 213-pounder, and he's picked up 2 yards as Harper and Pitts make the stop at the 42. So now it'll be a third down and 4. And the time left is important for Nebraska in particular. 3 minutes to go, trailing by 3 points. Halftime, it was 7-0. And at one time, 14-0. 3rd and 4 for Oklahoma. Robertson pitching it out to Washington. Washington, it appears, gets the first down to remain in possession of the ball.
A really courageous play by Robertson. When you don't want to give up the ball, you hate that last-minute pitch. But if you're going to run the wishbone offense, you've got to be able to execute that play when the chips are down and the pressure's on.
There's Coach Bob Devaney. Last home game as head coach as he'll retire and become athletic director, but first to Miami, Florida against Notre Dame. Incidentally, our guest to Coach's Corner at the Ohio State-Michigan telecast will be Ara Parsegian.
Maybe you'll talk about Bryant.
Okay. Leon Crosswhite carrying on the play. Monty Johnson on the tackle. 2:30 to go. 17-14. Oklahoma. In this series, Oklahoma leads 25 to 23 wins for Nebraska with 3 ties. And it's been a fantastic series over the years out here in the plains.
And it's often with the Big 8 titles riding.
And the same is true today, just as it was last year. Now we have a second down and 8 for Oklahoma. 2 minutes and 6 seconds left. They lead by 3. And Leon Crosswhite, bread and butter ball carrier. There you see 79 in the Nebraska red jersey. Rich Glover. And behind another Nebraska tackler, number 56, Johnny Pitts.
And Nebraska taking a timeout to kill the clock.
Because it brings up a 3rd down and 4 with 1 minute and 56 seconds left in the game. We'll return in a minute.
Okay, that ought to hold 'em for tonight. Let's go get us a beer.
When it's Miller time at the old home place, all the hands come riding in. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. If you've got the time, Miller beer. We've got the beer.
More hot buttered popcorn. And nothing makes better hot buttered popcorn than the Hamilton Beach Butter Up Popper. It's the original automatic self-buttering popper. You just put the butter here, and you get the greatest hot buttered popcorn you ever tasted. And that's not all. You can get one of my autographed footballs, too. Get the details of this special offer at your store.
Just tell him Joe sent you.
The Butter Up Popper from the Hamilton Beach Scoville world of appliances.
We have a minute 56 remaining in a dramatic reversal of form. Nebraska, national champions the last 2 years, getting their second by beating Oklahoma in white, and now they've scored the last 17 to lead as time is running out, and a fired up Joe Washington keeps control of the ball, and it appears that he gets the big first down.
And I know that Oklahoma fans would like to see that ball tucked away a little bit in this particular situation. It helps you to have balance when you've got it out there, but also the defense can get a grab at it, and that was a key play. Clock running, minute 43.
And, of course, John Carroll being re-injured in the first half, along with Greg Pruitt and Tinker Owens. Joe Washington have come in as freshmen and done a great job. 1st and 10 from the 25. Time left, a minute 28, as Crosswhite carries on the play. Monty Johnson on the tackle.
And the emotional factor all on Oklahoma's side now. The Nebraska defense that has been just double tough against the running attack. For the first time has surrendered 2 successive first downs on the ground. And the Sooner forwards with that feeling that victory's coming to us, firing out with a little more life than ever.
Coach Chuck Fairbanks, who has had 2 great years with the Sooners. There's Washington. A sure tackle on the play by Steve Manstedt. And now it's less than 1 minute. And can the Sooners hang on to their 17-14 lead?
And Nebraska has just taken their second timeout.
And following, of course, is the Prudential scoreboard right here on ABC. And they'll be telling you more about the Texas A&M game, which you'll see on ABC tonight at 9 Eastern Time. And a reminder and an invitation to join all of us on Saturday at 1 Eastern for another battle, Ohio State, Michigan in Columbus. And at the moment, the Nebraska band is playing Auld Lang Syne, and that's for their great head coach of 11 seasons with 100 victories, only 19 losses, and 2 ties. There he is. What a great guy. Graduate of Alma in 1939. He'll stay on as athletic director here, and you just can't say enough about his ability to lead young men.
Bob is a great tactician, great strategist, but also, as you said, Chris, an inspirational leader.
He certainly is. 3rd and 4 for Oklahoma. They have the lead, 17-14 with 50 seconds remaining in the game. Crosswhite again carrying.
And an important factor here for Oklahoma is Nebraska takes their last timeout, is that they're far enough down the field that they don't have to punt the ball and give Johnny Rodgers any daylight out there in the open field.
So now this means if they can retain that 3-point lead that Oklahoma, ranked number 4, will go into the Sugar Bowl against highly ranked Penn State with a 9-1 record, losing only to Colorado.
And you can see the distance there. If Oklahoma can make that yardage on the next snap, Oklahoma will have won the game unless there's a very unusual fumble or something of that nature. But the Nebraska hopes ride on the next snap of the ball.
There are 17 seniors playing for Nebraska, and what a record they've had. They lost only 1 game in the last 42, and that was to UCLA. In other words, over 3 seasons. They've just been tremendous.
And they'll give it the big effort on this snap.
You can bet. 45 seconds left on the clock. Bob Devaney on the left. Another native Wolverine from the state of Michigan, Chuck Fairbanks on the right. Battling here.
Get rid of those headphones and watch the play, Chuck.
4th down. Joe Washington did not make it, and Nebraska will get the ball with 39 seconds left on the clock and with no timeouts remaining. Wow. So here comes a potent Nebraska offense.
They've got the ability to break it, and they're going without a huddle.
They have Johnny Rodgers to the far side, Bob Revell to the near side in a double wing formation. Bill Olds is the lone setback. From the 15, David Hum with good protection throws out to Rodgers. And it's intercepted by a real hero of the defense for Oklahoma, Kenneth Pope.
And that did it.
31 seconds. There is Pope from Galveston, Texas. He has just been great today.
I think he knew who was going to be thrown to, but if I were Nebraska, I'd throw to him also. You need to get the ball to Rodgers in that situation in the field where he's got some room to run. But Oklahoma has done an exceptional defensive job against Johnny Rodgers today. It's the first time that I've seen him play, the first time that I've heard of him going in 60 minutes without breaking something somewhere.
That's right. Right to the far side now, another hero, Tinker Owens. From the wishbone, 1st and 10 from the 41 with 31 seconds left on the clock. And it'll be Oklahoma going to the Sugar Bowl against powerful Penn State to be seen New Year's Eve right here on ABC.
And that'll really be a big one. You can see Chuck over there very, very happy, and that's the victory and defeat. Bob Devaney has been in this situation very few times here in this stadium or any other stadium.
And, of course, the pictures, how beautifully they tell the story. No captions needed. And the Oklahoma players on the field are overjoyed. The Oklahoma fans, the Oklahoma band coming out on the field. Chuck Fairbanks being carried off the field when 3 years ago they almost ran him out of town in Norman.
That was when he switched to the wishbone, and a lot of people didn't think that that was the right attack to be using, but it turned out to be. A little heartbreak for Bob Devaney in his last appearance as a head coach here in the stadium in which he has won so often.
But he'll be taking on Notre Dame in Miami, while Chuck Fairbanks will go against Joe Paterno. Yes, sirree. The Sugar Bowl.
There's no feeling in the world quite like what Chuck has right now. Believe me, it's a great, great feeling. Ecstasy.
Set by the master. We'll return in a minute.
You know, nothing brings back the memories of Christmas like the great songs of Christmas. Some of the greatest are here in Goodyear's newest album, Christmas Is. 14 Christmas classics by outstanding artists of our time. Barbara Streisand, The Carpenters, Frank Sinatra, Joe Stafford, the Hillside Singers, Judy Garland, Tony Bennett. How'd he get in there? Andy Williams, the Mills Brothers, Doris Day, Vicky Carr, Patty Page, and Julie Andrews.
Christmas is just $1.25 at your Goodyear service store and most Goodyear dealers.
But you want to hurry, because this is one memory that won't last forever.
Well, no doubt there's great joy in Norman, Oklahoma right now, and with me, Bob Lund of Chevrolet, to make the Player of the Game awards to Wade Walker of Oklahoma. Bob?
Well, Bill, it was an exhausting game, both for the players and for the people in the stands here today, and it was a difficult decision for you fellas to make, but you made some good ones. The outstanding offensive player of the day was Dave Robertson, the quarterback for Oklahoma, and the outstanding defensive player was Kenneth Pope, right cornerback, and both of them played extremely well. And here to receive the scholarship, the Chevrolet Scholarship Awards, is Mr. Wade Walker, the athletic director from the University of Oklahoma. Congratulations, Wade Walker.
Bob, thank you. I'm so excited. I really don't know whether I can tell you really how much we do appreciate it. Let me say this, that we've received 2 before from Chevrolet partner, and they've already gone to 2 deserving youngsters. And bless Pete Barr, we have 2 more to give to 2 more Oklahomans. I really can't thank you enough, Bob. Thank you from Chevrolet, Bill, and ABC, and all the folks. It's just fantastic, and I'm sorry because I can't tell them how really much we appreciate it.
Okay, fine. Thanks very much, Wade. We'll see you in New Orleans, okay?
You bet, Bill.
Now let's go back to the booth, Chris and Bud.
Thank you, Bob and Bill. It's a Big 8 championship for the underdog OU from Norman, Oklahoma, coming back, scoring the last 17 points to win it by 3. The executive producer of NCAA football is Rune Arledge. Today's coverage of the Oklahoma-Nebraska game was produced by Chuck Howard, directed by Andy Sedaris, technical director John Allen. Don't forget, coming up next, the Prudential College Scoreboard. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, watch the Texas A&M Classic from Austin. Then on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, Michigan meets Ohio State. Later on Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, you'll see the Muhammad Ali-Bob Foster fight and the World Ski Flying Championships. Our thanks to our spotter Bill Friel, our statistician Terry O'Neill, Chris Schenkel speaking for Bill Fleming, Bud Wilkinson, saying so long from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. Air travel arranged and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, the airline for college football teams throughout the country. At United, your land is our land. Goodyear. More people ride on Goodyear tires than on any other kind. By Chevrolet, who is building a better way to see the USA. By the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Texaco and the many thousands of Texaco retailers and distributors in all 50 states. Trust Texaco to have the right gasoline for you. Once again, the final score, an upset. Oklahoma 17, Nebraska 14. This has been an ABC Sports presentation.
The FBI chases 2 hold-up men on a rubber raft Sunday night here on ABC.